Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you are here for the morning forecast show. Take note of the time. This is the time we go live every single day. Whether you're watching live or later on, please do remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so before. Today, we are going to be tuning into Jerome Powell speaking live. He can be confirming some more rate cuts. We've also potentially got 3 rate cuts already confirmed back to back. We'll be exploring all of that in this video. We've also got silver going to all-time highs. And when silver has a short squeeze, it can really get going. We can get a 20, 30, 40, 50% move up from silver in the next few months. So it's going to get very exciting. The markets are pumping like never before. And when I say never before, there has been a time in history where they've pumped like this, the S&P 500, the AI stocks. And that time was the 2000 bubble. The 2000 dot-com bubble was the last time we've seen rallies like this in the stock market compared to the amount of money in the markets. If you take the S&P 500 and divide it by the money supply, remember the M2, if you divide it by M2, which is how much money is in the system. If you go S&P divided by M2, you get this chart here. And if we zoom out and make each candle worth 1 month, what you can see is this chart here. In 2009, we were at the lowest valuation potentially ever on the S&P 500. But if you now look at where we were in 1999, we are now approaching those levels once again. That is very concerning. But in my opinion, that means we're at the end of a cycle. End of a crypto cycle, end of a market cycle, meaning we get that final euphoria, which means the money goes from big players such as Apple, Nvidia, and goes into small market cap stocks, such as the stuff on the Russell 2000, such as your S&P, such as SBCE, Tilray, all of these rubbish stocks that the market would consider. It goes into that, and the same in the crypto market. You go from Bitcoin, Ethereum, into the altcoins, and you get that final blow off top with these higher risk tokens and stocks, and then you get the final crash, which I'm expecting at the beginning of 2026. So I think, according to this chart, the S&P 500 could do another potentially 5 to 7% move towards the upside, and then I'll be getting very, very cautious. I would expect the S&P 500 to come down, the money flow into the higher risk assets, and then a final blow off top, and then a crash. So we always need to keep an eye on that now. That is something we're going to be monitoring, this chart here, the S&P 500 over the money supply. I don't expect to see that going to new all-time highs, because that dot-com era was the biggest FOMO, biggest bull market we've ever seen in the stock market in recent history anyway. So a lot to cover. Jerome Powell will be speaking. Let me put a timer on the clock so we know exactly when Jerome Powell's coming live. So if I do this over here, I can bring us a timer on the screen. So let me get a new countdown, put that on the screen. He's coming out in just under an hour, so we'll put that timer there. Let me put that on the screen. And then he's speaking, so we'll do speech in perfect. So that is something that will either pump or confirm those rate cuts. We're going to have Jerome Powell speaking. It's as if we've got an FOMC meeting today. So we're going to keep that on the screen, because that's going to be important to keep an eye on. If you have just tuned in, thank you very much. We're live every single morning. Take a note of the time. This is the time we're live every day. Make sure you have hit the like button and you have subscribed as well. So should we go through some of the top stories today? I think we should. Let me just welcome everyone into the show. Who do we have here today? We've got William here. Good morning, William. We've got Rhino Skin. We've got Stephen Lewandowski. We've got Kanzansky back from holiday. I hope you had a good time. Zach Zate says peace in the world. Yes, it does look like we have peace in the Middle East at last. It's looking good. We've got that as a story today. Ole says, hello everyone. Jamie says, good afternoon. Thomas is here. Brian is here. Stephen is here. BJ is saying, Tilray is going off this morning on its earnings. Again, it's time for these more risky, terrible stocks to go up, and Tilray would fall in that category. Some of you might say it's an amazing stock, some might say it's rubbish, but essentially it is a much more risky stock, and that's what should start pumping now. And you can see we were very, very bullish on Tilray. I was very bullish on Tilray in terms of risk to reward. Down here, the breakout at 42 cents. That was only in July of 2025. Congratulations to anyone who took that trade, because from those levels, we are up 325% in about 3 months. So congratulations. And even more because we're at $2 this morning. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have too much in this stock, but I would certainly be enjoying those gains. Congratulations, BJ, if you've got any. Jamie Reese says, Hover looking canny. Yes, we did have the Hover CEO live on the show a couple days ago, which was one of our best Meet the CEOs, and it's up another 4% pre-market, 15% after that meeting. So do make sure you are a member so you can catch these Meet the CEOs as they happen. They are always available to general public afterwards. But remember, it's never financial advice, so please not buy or sell based off anything we say. But look at that. Great chart. We did actually do an analysis the day before saying $3 breaking would be big because we're looking at $4.50 next. Karen is here. We'll get into our top stories in just one moment. David Hensley is here. Welcome in, David Hensley. Josh Monroe says, good morning, all. Rallo1 says, hi, all. Yolanda says, good afternoon, Sensei. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Yolanda. Charms is here. David is here. Cody is here. Brian it says everything looks up. XRP down with ETF. So close. Yes, the crypto market has sold off slightly yesterday and the day before. I think it was yesterday it sold off. Bitcoin dominance is going up. I think that's just gearing up for Bitcoin to take the next move towards the upside, and then late. I think this month we will get close to all-time highs for XRP. Sam says morning. Raymond says peace to everybody. The 3Ds morning. All Sick Boy Customs says afternoon all. Worried about the stock market and crypto. Put my iron to ease. I don't give any advice. My thoughts are we are in quite a risky stage of the market, but also probably the stage of the market that people make the most amount of money. That's why I'm staying invested. If it goes down, we're going to a bear market. We're 80% down. Then just need to find some money to invest in the markets. As Martyn is in the chat, Martyn says, as the crazy march over the cliff starts to build, I repeat, I'm out of the market. First step was into cash. Second step, 100% in T-bills. In total, 270,000. When value returns, I'll be waiting. Mr. Keefe says, morning sense. I hope you feel better today. I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you, Mr. Keefe. I'm good enough to stream, don't worry. Martyn says, Treasury bills are earning me over $30 a day. I love it. As I loan the US government my money, the safest, most rewarding way while I wait to move. Yes, this is something me and Martyn were talking about off stream. There's money to be made just by holding government debt, especially when you want to be out of the market and earning money. It's an interesting strategy. Good morning, guys, says Ninja Cowboy and gals. Okay, let's go into our main stories. If you haven't already hit the like button, how many likes do we have? We have 316 people watching, and how many likes? It says 13. That can't be right. Let me refresh that. How many likes do we have on the show? We should have 160. We've got 63. What is everyone doing? Please do hit the like button if you have just come into the stream. I know it's early morning for most of you, but it's free. It takes a second. It helps out the channel. It shares it to more people. I think everyone can take a second to hit the like button. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't done so already. Let's see. I'm going to check back in about a minute, and I hope it's at 150 likes. So we have Jerome Powell speaking in 48 minutes time. We've got an analysis of the whole stock market. We've got some top stories. So let's start with some of our top stories today. We've got a ceasefire deal reached. We've got Fed split on rate cuts. We've got Powell silent signal. We've got HSBC $14 billion bet, and the UK approving our exchange traded notes, essentially ETFs, but quite different to ETFs. But essentially, the UK, the FCA has now approved a way for UK investors to buy crypto in ISAs, which is a very big step in my opinion. Probably not for this bull market anymore, but next bull run, instead of buying and having to pay capital gains, we've got a £20,000 ISA. Most UK residents will have, or UK citizens will have that, where you can buy it in them and you don't have to pay any tax. So far, I think it's only Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I'm sure more products will be available. So, on that news, the first exchanges that are actually allowing this, and I've got their confirmation email from them yesterday, is a company called Free Trade. I already use Free Trade. I think I've got a link I can give you. Let me check. I might have put it in the news. I think I put it in the newsletter as well. So let me just give you this link. If you don't have Free Trade yet, that might be the first place, and I think it will be the first place where we can buy these crypto ETFs here in the UK. Let me see if I can copy that link and put it in the chat. I think we both get free shares. This is a crypto. This is a it's like trading 212, but they offer slightly different products, and we have no confirmation from 212 yet about ENTs. Either way, if you want free shares, that link will give you free shares here in the UK with Free Trade, and it could be the first one that allows crypto ENTs. So do check it out. You can get up to $100 free. I get something, you get something. If you haven't got it yet, do go and check it out. The link is in the chat. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie says, 212 said, each issuer still needs to complete final approvals and have their ENTs admitted to trading on London. That means most ENTs will not be available. Yeah, no, that's right. We have got that confirmation, but we've got an email from Free Trade yesterday saying they are looking to list them as early as Monday next week, I believe. So they are ready to list them as well. Yeah, I don't know which one will have it first. I have a feeling it will be Free Trade because of the emails they're sending out. But either way, they should be available to us next week, I believe. I'll do a video on it later as well. So the one big thing is in the newsletter today for all the UK investors in the chat today is the UK just gave crypto its biggest stamp of legitimacy yet. Retail investors can now hold Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange traded notes. And remember, that's different to an ETF. Inside tax-free ISAs after years of bans, the FCA's reversal opens doors to billions of in potential inflows and signaling a turning point in crypto integration with traditional finance. It's a regulatory green light that can reshape how digital assets are held, taxed, and trusted in one of the world's top financial hubs. If you're a UK investor with a stocks and shares ISA, start researching crypto ETN. Starting next week, you can get regulated tax-free exposure to Bitcoin or Ethereum via listed ETNs. A potential cleaner, safer route than offshore exchanges. Watch for FCA-approved products on the London Stock Exchange. And remember, these are high risk, so diversify and size your positions accordingly. Of course, crypto is high risk. But I'm very excited to be able to hold Bitcoin and Ethereum and hopefully XRP in a tax-free account here in the UK. Remember, we're going to have to wait for for them to apply to the London Stock Exchange, get their prospectus, but that can be done within days. So that will be very interesting to see if it's just Bitcoin and Ethereum or if it flows into the other tokens as well. Either way, we're going to be doing a video on it later, so I don't want to tell you too much when this stream is more about Jerome Powell and more of the news, but just to let everyone know. And if you haven't got Free Trade yet, there is a referral link in the live chat. And the UK is very generous with the one thing that we still have, which they might take away from us, is our ISAs, which is £20,000 a year tax-free investing in the stock market. And if we get these ENTs, then that'll be tax-free as well. If I give you an idea of what £20,000 is in dollars, I imagine it's $26,700 of tax-free investing every single year. That's obviously in addition to what you can get with your pensions and the 20% match on that, or 25% match. So let me know in the chat, is that better than your region? Let me know. Are you in the US? Do you get that sort of tax-free amount? I don't think many people do. Let me know in the chat if anyone has any better tax-free forms of investing in their own countries. Here in the UK, we get about $27,000 a year we can put into these ISAs, and they will never get taxed. Um, so the big news of the day, which is long overdue, but it finally seems to hopefully be cemented, is Israel Hamas ceasefire deal sealed amid famine ICC arrest warrants. So we've got a deal being made by Trump, who initiated this. And the news is Israel and Hamas have reached a US brokered ceasefire and a hostage exchange deal, marking the first major diplomatic progress since the conflict began in October of 2023, 2 years on. So many people dead. Terrible, terrible war. The agreement provides the release of 48 hostages, around 20 of whom are believed to be alive, in exchange for 1,700 Palestinian detainees, including 250 serving life sentences. More than 67,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, according to health authorities, amidst a collapse of food supply chains and critical infrastructure that has pushed the enclave to the brink of famine. Since May of 2025, over 2.5 thousand or 2,500 civilians have reportedly died near aid distribution sites under Israeli fire or in clashes. More than 18,800 wounded. That's just the number of people trying to seek aid. Near aid distribution sites. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity, including the alleged use of starvation as a weapon of war. The ceasefire implementations will require significant international coordination, with Egypt, Qatar, and the United States acting as guarantors to monitor compliance and humanitarian aid delivery. Financially, the truce opens pathways for foreign reconstruction funding, potentially led by Gulf states, and could restore limited trade flows through Israeli and Egyptian crossings if stability holds. However, this situation remains fragile. The United Nations warns that famine conditions are spreading despite the deal, while analysts note that risk premiums in oil, defense, and regional sovereign bonds are likely to stay elevated until sustained peace framework is verified. Markets will be watching closely for signals that humanitarian relief, infrastructure building, and governance reforms are genuinely taking hold, or whether renewed hostilities could trigger another round of volatility. The truce offers short-term relief for energy and defense markets, but legal fallout and humanitarian instability keeps regional risk elevated. Reconstruction may spur liquidity, yet lasting calm remains uncertain. I think the main story is the piece. I don't think we need to look into what it means for the market. Of course, it can bring more liquidity in. Of course, there could be a rebuilding project. Of course, there could be defense sector, which might go down because there's not a need for it as much, or it could stay elevated because of the uncertainty. But I think the main thing is it's not going to have a major effect on general markets. It's more the fact that we've finally got peace in the Middle East. Hopefully, this lasts, and all the people starving will get some aid put towards them, and we can move on from this conflict with no more lives being lost. Let me go to your comments, and then we're coming on to the Fed minutes. We got Fed minutes released yesterday. I want to give you some more facts about that. We covered that live yesterday, and then we've got Jerome Powell speaking live in about 38 minutes time. And again, the markets are in the biggest bubble since the 2000s. So we need more catalysts to keep this going, to get to that blow off top, to help the crypto market, to help the markets just have that final big move towards the upside before inevitably, in my opinion, we crash. So let me go through your comments. Okay, I've just got a message from Martyn. Please show my short on X on YouTube to show those over a cliff. It's funny. Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up on X. So if I go on to Martyn's X, let me do this here. Let me go to Martyn's X. Martyn posted a video. Oh, here it is. Let me show you this. It's nice to hear from Martyn while he's on holiday. Listen to this, everyone. Let me unmute that. Here we go.
Sadly, some people just cannot be helped. The information is there, but humans continue to ignore it. Face the facts, guys. Look at what's happening and open your eyes. Sadly, some people just cannot be helped. The information is there, but humans continue to ignore it. Face the facts, guys. Look at what's happening and open your eyes.
There we go. Look at that. That's a video that Martyn did. I love it. As the crazy march over the cliff starts to build, I repeat, I'm out of the market. First step was into cash. Second step, 100% in T-bills. In total, 270,000. When value returns, I'll be waiting for a deal. There we go. Hover up 15%. Yes, straight after the interview. The day after, it's looking great. Good morning, says Mickey. Martyn says, we bought you Hover, a members only CEO event. Membership was your best investment ever. Yes, if you're not a member yet, do consider becoming a member. The membership link is there. Good morning, Sensei. Pascal says, take the numbers with a grain of salt. Hamas numbers. I think these are the numbers that Donald Trump has quoted himself as well. I think the Hamas numbers are potentially in the hundreds of thousands. This is the number that's agreed worldwide, I believe, when I was doing the research, Pascal. But again, who knows the real number, really? You can just take a look and see the whole place is flattened. So it's awful, whatever the number is. Zach Zate says, not a financial advisor. If not financial advice, if all will go by Trump's plan, market will explode up and Israeli companies will raise up technology. There we go. Thank you, Zach Zate. Ricardo says, good morning, but Banana Head's late for the show. That's okay. Oh, look at this. Orlando Ole Gundenson has gifted 5 memberships. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've engaged with the chat, and you can win memberships. Do make sure you thank Ole because he's bought 5 people memberships of the channel. Look at that. Natasha's become a member. I wonder why it's not playing this out. Natasha has become a member. Oh, it's because it's some gifted memberships. Make sure you thank Ole. Good morning, Banana Heads. Late for the show. Ricardo, don't worry. The speech hasn't started yet. It's starting in 34 minutes. Thanks for the coin link the other day. I managed to link my Coinbase and Revolut accounts to it. Haven't worked out wallets yet. They're a very helpful app. No worries, Mark Lane. I hope it does help. That was the way you can just link all of your accounts, API and stuff, and it essentially just calculates your capital gains tax bills in the UK, gives you a whole spreadsheet. So I'm glad it's worked for you, Mark Lane. See if I've got the link for anyone else who hasn't got it yet. Thank you for gifting the memberships, Ole. Chucky has now become a member. Chucky, make sure you thank Ole for your membership. Where is it? If I go here. Yes, here it is. Here in the UK, you can use this link and get Coinly to calculate your tax. Gary Outdoor Livings, welcome to your membership. Please thank Ole. Reminds me of the Lennon game. Reminds me of the Lemming game, says Jamie. I don't know what that means. Ricardo says, yeah, I'm not putting my faith on a man. So 8647. I don't know what that means. Hank, welcome to your membership. Make sure you thank Ole. Yeah, I'm not putting my faith in him. I don't know what that means, Ricardo. I don't know. Oh, Stephen's got rid of it anyway. Thank you again for the membership. Is that a threat, Ricardo? I have no idea what's going on. What does that even mean? What did that comment mean? I don't know what any of that means. I thought it was a I'm trying to figure out what that comment means, but I don't understand it. Um, let's hopefully try and keep everything civil in the chat. Oh, there's something going on in the chat. Let's please try and keep it nice and civil in the chat. Yeston says, "Hello everyone, silver looking good." Yes, we're expecting all-time highs on silver potentially today. Sick Boy Customs. I got gifted a membership last month, which has made me get off my butt and actually become a member. Sick Boy Customs, I love it. Yeah, make sure if you have got gifted a membership, you do take the time to renew your membership when it comes to an end. Also, you can just upgrade it right now as well. If you do an Electrum, you come into our Sunday events. Can't say I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. Why can't I say that number? I don't know. Hi, Sensor just arrived. Welcome in, Brian. Did you get a chance to look at Leaner Technology? I haven't yet, unfortunately. For those who just want a membership, best time ever to upgrade to Electrum. Yes, it is. Because remember, our Electrum, essentially you're paying for bronze by getting Electrum. If you upgrade to Electrum, you will have access to all the silver perks, plus the new perks for Electrum, learn lots on a Sunday, access our trivia nights and where we educate and play while having some fun, and do an after party as well. So that happens for all Electrum members and above. 47th president. 47th president. Good morning, all these family. I don't know what's going on. He wants to 86. Okay. Oh, 86 means delete. Right. Okay. I didn't know that. That's obviously not a good thing to say. How does that mean that? I don't understand. Oh, right. Okay. No, now I see. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, we can't be saying that in the chat. We can't be saying that. Electrum membership gives you live trivia, learn and play along. I don't think. Are we in members only mode? We might be. Let me check. I think we are in members only mode. So what I'm going to do is open up this to the general public as well. I think we've answered all members' questions now. So I'm going to open this up to the general public as well. So how do I do that now? God. Okay, so we're now on to general subscribers. So all members' questions have been asked. I'll say, I'll stay quiet, Sensei. Sorry for the inconvenience. No worries. Okay, so now we are in general subscriber mode. Let's go on to the main event. So what we're waiting for now is Jerome Powell to come out. Come on, Cardano. Is something going on with Cardano today? Let me have a look. Is it pumping? No, it's down 3% today, so I don't know what you mean by that comment. Maybe you're rooting for it. Okay, hey Sensei, says Clive Brooks. Hello, welcome in. Everyone welcome in the general subscribers. Members, please welcome in the general subscribers into the show. Come on, we're back. Afternoon. Did you do anything about those ETNs? They're not out yet. We don't have too much information. The one, I am going to come out with a video, but I'm waiting to hopefully get a little bit more information. So maybe later today, because I've gathered some more information. I've got a few emails from different places. Free Trade is the one that I think is going to come out with the ETNs first. But anyway, we'll leave that for another video. But yes, it is coming out, Daniel. Zach, did you friend Andrew? Okay, so yesterday we got the Fed minutes. In half an hour, we're getting Jerome Powell speaking. Let's have a look at what the Fed minutes were all about yesterday. Let's look at what the speech from what we can expect from the speech from Jerome Powell. So yesterday, the Federal Reserve September meeting notes. The Federal Reserve September meeting minutes showed policymakers supported last month's quarter point rate cut, bringing the federal funds rate target range to 4 to 4.25%, while a narrow majority signaled openness to 2 additional cuts before year end. Yet internal divisions was clear. One member, remember, they vote. The minutes showed us what each Fed member was voting for. If you see a lot of discrepancy, if someone's saying 50 basis points, someone's saying 25 basis points, someone's saying hold, someone's saying hike, that's awful. That shows a lot of uncertainty and they don't know what they're doing. If most people are clear and saying we just want one rate cut and everyone agrees to that, that's quite certain, that's quite good. If someone goes 50 basis points, someone else says 25 basis point, that's also fine. They're both going in the same direction. They just disagree on sorry, the 25 basis point, the difference in cuts. So yesterday from the minutes we saw that the internal divisions were clear. One member wanted a 50 basis point cut, while a few participants preferred holding rates steady due to lingering inflation. So we had people saying hold, we had people saying 25 basis points, we had someone saying 50 basis point. And at the end, we just did a 25 basis point cut. The committee acknowledged that inflation remains somewhat elevated. Remember, if inflation stays sticky and hot, they don't really want to cut rates, particularly under strain of new tariff measures, even as labour market risks have grown. If labour market risks grow, they cut rates. That's why in Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole speech, that wasn't during an FOMC meeting, during that Jackson Hole speech, that set off this next leg of the bull market, and we're having another speech from Jerome Powell now. That Jackson Hole speech, he mentioned that the labor risks are now elevated. The labor risks is something they're going to focus on. Essentially, what that means, he might as well say we're cutting rates. He said that at the Jackson Hole speech, the market priced in rate cuts. We got rate cuts. The market's pricing in more rate cuts. So we need to see, is he going to continue talking about the labor market, or is he going to mention inflation more? Whichever one he mentions more, if he mentions inflation more, then that means, he might be a bit more hawkish. If he mentions the job market and having to protect that more, he might be a bit more dovish. That means rate cuts. If he talks about inflation more, that means not cutting rates. So markets responded with a 20 to 40 basis points decline in short-term treasury yields and a steeper yield curve, reflecting increased confidence in a 2025 easing cycle. Equities rallied towards record highs as traders priced in a softer Fed stance, while money market conditions tightened slightly amid higher treasury issuance and continued balance sheet runoff. The minutes reinforced the view that future policy will hinge on upcoming inflation and labor data, which we might not be getting, because remember, we are in a shutdown, which Jerome Powell might also touch on in his speech today in 25 minutes' time. Much of which remains delayed by the ongoing US government shutdown. So the Fed's tone leans dovish, but the internal split suggests cuts are not yet autopilot. We are expecting cuts, but they're not as simple as that those minutes indicated that they're very, very certain they're just going to keep cutting rates. That's not what that report indicated. It was slightly more dovish, but it does not suggest that they're going to continue cutting rates on autopilot. Investors chasing risk assets may benefit near term, but volatility could spike if upcoming inflation data challenges the easing narrative. But now we've got Powell to speak at Community Banking Conference. That is today in 24 minutes' time. Let me go back to comments and then we'll talk about what's happening today. This is live. Yes, this is live. We're live right now. God's truth. We're live right now. I'm talking to you. I got confirmation on ETNs on trading 212, but then another notification. Free trade. So trading 212, you can already go in and do a questionnaire, but they haven't released a date for release. Free trade are looking, they've sent out communications that they are looking for next week. So I mean, they might be at the same time, they might not be. But yeah, I think free trade might have it before 212. Either way, it doesn't really matter because I'm not looking to buy it anyway at this point. Maybe just for some fun, but it'll be very, very useful in the bear market. With Robinhood, hello, Queen of Self-Braiding is here. Stephen Lindowski is here. Josh Monroe says, with Robinhood Smart Exchange Routing, if you spend $50,000 in 30-day trailing period, you can get a 75% discount on your crypto transactions. Very interesting, Josh Monroe. Thanks, Martyn Lucas Investor. Thank you so much. You're the man. Thanks, and God's truth. No worries. Welcome into the show. Are you bearish or bullish for alts in November? I'm pretty bullish. I am pretty bullish on the altcoin market. So we're coming on to the next piece on Powell to speak at Community Banking Conference. But before we do, let's see if we are getting our likes up. We've got 678 people watching. That does mean we should have at least half the people liking. That means at least 320, 335, 337 likes. What do we have? 191. We're missing 150 likes. If you are being lazy, don't worry. Take the time now to hit the like button. Just take 1 second. I know it's early morning, but it takes 1 second. It's free. It helps out the show. Just take 1 second. Smash that like button. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe as well. Let's see if we can get up to 350 likes by the time I come and look at it again. Remember, every single day we do release our newsletter. That's where we've just been reading our information from, and we're going to come on to the speech in a second as well. Every single day you get everything you need to know about the markets. If you're a real investor, you need the real news, you need it ad-free, you need it non-biased, you need hours of research put into it. So you get all the top stories at a glance. You get the one big thing, the money move of the day. You get a market snapshot. You get all the 5 things you need to know. So all the main stories going on in the markets every single day. You then get again, we're covering gold as well in today's newsletter. You get the deep dive, which goes into a macro story, a stock review, a crypto review, something like that every single day. You get my thoughts, you get the economic calendar, what's happening every single day. And here you can see at 8:30 Eastern time, 1:30 UK time, we're getting Fed Chair Powell's speech. You can see it's a high impact story. We've got it on our own economic calendar. You've also got access to the chart of the day, my thoughts on a specific chart, what I'm doing as well. So you get that all in the newsletter every single day. So do consider subscribing to newsletter. There is a free plan, which you get basically half the newsletter every day. Sometimes we limit it to our premium members, but most of the time you do get a newsletter as a free member. But you also, and there was also a premium plan for about 30 cents a day. You get access to me, you get access to the community, you get access to a full newsletter every single day. So it is definitely worth the premium plan as well. But either way, go and check out the newsletter. The link is here. This link gives you a 1-week free trial as well. So you can, on the annual plan, so you can always go check it out and see if it's for you. The link is also pinned. It's also the first link in the description. Did we hit our likes? Should we go through the content? We've got 235 likes. I don't know what's going on. Everyone needs to wake up and hit the like button. Okay, so Powell to where were we? We were here. So Powell to speak at Community Banking Conference. That's what we're covering in 20 minutes. So the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is set to deliver a pre-recorded remarks today at the Community Banking Conference in Washington, D.C., marking his first scheduled appearance since the release of the FOMC minutes. While the video message is expected to be largely ceremonial, markets will watch closely for any indirect cues on regional banking stress, credit conditions, or broader lending environment, areas under growing scrutiny as higher rates continue to squeeze smaller lenders and tighten financial conditions. So he is speaking at the Community Bank Conference. That means his speech is probably going to be tailored to the the regional banking market. They're going to be looking to see if these he might be mentioning something about stress in the markets or in the banking sector, credit conditions, a broader lending environment, and all of those bits of information the market participants, hedge funds, analysts will be looking at and scrutinizing, and then making trades based on it. So it is going to get volatile. So the timing also adds weight. The September minutes, remember, released yesterday, shows how divided, shows officials divided on how quickly to cut rates.
Zach Zeit donated $5 through a super chat. Good morning, Riot, please.
Of course, we'll have a look at the Riot chart. Thank you, Zach Zeit, for supporting the channel. So the timing adds weight. The September minute showed officials divided on how quickly to cut rates, with several calling for patience until inflation risks subside. Even a subtle shift in Powell's tone, especially around credit health or economic resilience, could influence market sentiment and recalibrate expectations for Fed's next move. Traders will pass his comments for any hints of whether policies remain on track for a December rate cut or prefer a slower approach. Powell may not move markets with a pre-recorded clip, but silence can speak volumes. Investors should listen to what he doesn't say about rate cuts and regional stress. Yeah, either way, we're going to try and analyze what Jerome Powell saying. The market's definitely going to analyze it, and we have got a pretty good idea that this month in if I refresh this, so I make sure I've got the most up-to-date data, we are almost certain 95% chance we get a rate cut in October. Remember, we're going to be covering the actual FOMC meeting later this month, so make sure you are subscribed. We'll be covering that live with our live trades, so we are pretty much certain on that. But what's more important, the market's going to be looking forward to, is what does that mean for December and January? Are we going to get 3 rate cuts confirmed in a row? Because so far, January is about an 80% chance of a rate cut. Oh, sorry, December's about an 80% chance of rate cut. January is not pricing in. Let me just check again. 350. Yeah, but January is not pricing in a rate cut at the moment. The speech today could put us on track for a rate cut, rate cut, rate cut. 3 rate cuts in a row would mean that the markets will start going parabolic. We'll have a euphoria in the markets. We'll have FOMO in the markets. And I do believe that will help the smaller market cap stocks, whether that's the Russell 2000 stocks, whether that's the crypto altcoins, an altcoin season, a Russell 2000 pump, that will go into a blow off top and then will come crashing and burning down in January of next year, potentially, with maybe a relief rally and then a recession maybe in 2026. So either way, if we do get confirmation of a dovish Fed, of more rate cuts, of potentially a slight banking crisis where that means they have to print some money and get some more money in the system, that would result in a pump in the markets, unless it's a massive emergency, unless the jobs, there's a scale. If it's a controlled crash where the job unemployment's going up and they're controlling it by bringing rates down slowly, then that's great for the markets. If it's a sudden unemployment is spiking, inflation is spiking, we're panicking, we need to cut rates and print money suddenly, emergency meeting, that's awful for the markets, even though you're getting the same result, lowering rates. That shows panic, that shows uncertainty. We don't want that. But if we get a controlled rate cuts and no emergency meetings, we can get that final euphoric period in the market, like we got in the top.com era, because this is looking very, very, very similar to, crypto wasn't around back then, but if you look at the S&P, if you look at maybe Nasdaq, let's just look at the S&P 500 because that was part of it as well. So if we go onto the 1 month time frame and you look at the .com pump, you can really see we just went on a bull run never seen before, all the way from 1980s to 2000. We had a big pump in the markets. That was euphoria like we've never seen before. Then we went into quite a large bear market, but that was about a 1000% move up from those levels. Then we got a W structure and we went on to our next bull market. So we are essentially in the same sort of situation once again. And then if you divide the S&P 500 over money supply, which is how much money is actually in the markets, you can see we are approaching levels of the 2000 crash, suggesting we are so overbought on the markets. But it also does suggest the last part of a euphoric run is normally the most profitable, especially on the lower, higher risk tokens and stocks. So that's why I'm still invested, because I think we'll have that final massive euphoric run and then go into a bear market, and I don't want to miss that final euphoric run. So that's my thoughts, and Jerome Powell might help confirm that that's going to continue to happen. Let me go to your comments. If you have just tuned in, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. If you haven't got the newsletter, which gets released every single day ad-free, there is the link. Let me go through your comments. Riot. Zach Zate has done a $5 super chat to go through Riot. Let's have a look at Riot stock, which is obviously a Bitcoin mining company. I think we looked at this at like $10, $5, something like that. Oh, we're looking in the bear market, but it's not looking bad at all. You can, if you zoom out, 2018, 2020, it made a higher high, so that's always good to see. It makes a higher high. You can see in the bear market, it made a higher low, so that the structure of the company is looking good. And also what you can see is now you're breaking out of a range. So Riot's stock has broken its previous high, so now it's making a higher high on a shorter time frame. it's obviously also in this sort of big move towards the upside. The next level will be $23, but apart from that, you are very much. I don't know if you're going to get all-time highs on this stock this time round. Why is that being weird? I don't know if you're going to get all-time highs on this stock this time round, but you can certainly go to a 50% and a 786. So my targets for Riot would be about $41, the 618 at $50, and then if I want to be bullish as well, if we get there, maybe we won't this time round, but about $63. I wouldn't be waiting for all-time highs. But all those targets are now in sight for Riot, especially if it breaks $23. I would say yeah, $40 will be a quite a major target for Riot, another double over the next few months, even potentially. So yeah, Riot's looking good. The support is about $20 as well. Thank you, Zaxi, for the chart request. Me sitting on Ventrix doing so much work, some machine. Thank you, Yestin. I'm a beginner in crypto, lost a lot of money. Can this speech help me recover all my losses? Camper Mobile, no, it cannot. Unfortunately not. If you're a beginner in crypto and you lost your money, you can't just rely on one speech to make all your money back. That's not how it works. And what I would recommend you do is probably take a step back. Again, it's never financial advice, but if you've lost money, you're going to be emotional. You're going to try to be chasing it back, and if you ask any crypto investor, that's the worst thing to do, to try and chase. And that's like it's same in the casino. If you go in and you lose, and then you keep chasing and keep putting money in, you're probably going to come out not happy. So this speech is not going to help you get all your money back. Will gold hit 5,000 today? No, that's pretty much impossible, but we are very bullish on gold. We've been bullish on gold for the longest time. I mean, we called gold going up in, what was it, £1,300 3 years ago. The gold analysis, gold report, all on live in this chat, on this channel. If I took a long trade, Camper Mobile, who knows if it's going to pump or dump the markets? I wouldn't be trading the speech at all. Silver all-time high. Yes, we are expecting silver all-time highs today, and then a further 25-50% rally, potentially by year end or by January next year, because silver can be going through a short squeeze as well. Now that it's pushing through all-time highs. Yep, it is pushing through all-time highs as we speak. Congratulations to anyone holding a physical or has silver exposure in their portfolios as well. Coming up to 10 minutes away from this speech now. Just want to read some of your comments. Bitcoin past 123,000 again. Bitcoin is pumping into this speech. Bitcoin is certainly pumping into this speech. We've got Bitcoin now back above 123,000. Remember, Bitcoin dominance is going up right now, meaning more of the money is in the hands of Bitcoin, which is good. We expected one final run up from Bitcoin dominance, potentially to 60% on Bitcoin dominance, and then when the euphoria hits, we expect it to go to 60,000. Look at this. Let me show you this chart. Bitcoin dominance is running up, so you've got a downtrend. That was when altcoins were outperforming. And then we said we're going to get this final run up. We broke this downtrend. We found a base. Bitcoin dominance heading to 60%. And then that's when you get the final blow off top, high risk tokens, high risk stocks. When we're looking at Bitcoin dominance, we're looking at the altcoin market. If Bitcoin dominance comes down, we're expecting altcoins to outperform Bitcoin. There's two ways that can happen. That can be they both sell off and altcoins sell off less than Bitcoin, but that is a very, very unlikely scenario. The more likely scenario is Bitcoins goes sideways or goes up a little bit, and then altcoins really start pumping, and that will take us into a bear market just like last time. A massive crash on Bitcoin dominance means a massive pump on the altcoin market, and then that's it. Again, never financial advice. It's still a high risk market. It's very, very volatile. There's no guarantee of a bull market. I think there's a 60% chance we get this explosion, and there's 25% chance inflation stays too sticky, and there's a 15% chance that the jobs market will crash. I'm prepared for all situations. I'm prepared for the market to go up 400, 500, 1,000%. I'm prepared for the market to go up 200%. I'm prepared for the market to crash 50%. I'm prepared to go into a bear market for 4 years and buy some more tokens. The good thing about my portfolio is the tokens I've bought, I'm happy to hold long term anyway. I would hate to go into a bear market, go down 80% and not really take that much profits. But it's not the worst situation, because I'll try and earn some more money and buy some more crypto. And I don't think that's the most likely scenario. I think the most likely scenario is we get a blow off top and the end of the bull market with an altcoin season. And even then, even with a 60% chance, I think the risk reward is still amazing, because the risk is a crash and my tokens will survive. 90% of my tokens will probably survive the bear market. They're not scam tokens. They're mostly top 10 tokens, and then the rest would be the rest would be, oh, let me see if I can bring Martyn in. I think he's joining the show. Here we go. Let me bring Martyn on the show. We've got
Hello, good morning, how are you? Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're muted or I'm muted. Is anybody muted?
Oh, I'm muted. Welcome into the show, Martyn.
Hiya, mate. Hiya. Great to be with you guys. Yeah, I'm on my holiday, as you can see. I'm just getting up in the morning and having a cup of tea and relaxing. This is where I live in Cornwall. This is just outside my house. This picture here. The reason for calling in, and thank you for taking the call, and I'm very excited to hear what Jerome Powell says this morning, is some people were confused by my last live stream, by my last message. Wasn't really sure exactly what was going on. I just wanted to clarify a few things. What I meant, I tried to go out with a bang on the last live stream. And so what I did is I traded many times on the day with my Coca-Cola using tax lots, and I was able to take profit. I then traded the S&P. I then paid off $300,000 of margin. I also cleared my external margin, which was the credit cards, which I used to get my margin down to 4% rather than the 5.25 by borrowing money on Bank of America to be able to do that. So that was margin. It wasn't just credit cards for buying stuff. It was part of my margin plan. Then I also put aside $30,000 to pay on my tax bill this year for all these gains that I've made. Then I removed all the money. Then I reset my portfolio, and I've now bought T-bills. T-bills are treasury bills. I'm just taking the time. Yeah, I've got time, haven't I? Before he speaks. Yeah. Then I put all my money into T-bills. Now, for those of you who don't know what T-bills are, I'm using SGOV, ticker symbol SGOV. When there is volatility in the market and you're expecting a crash, which I am, when you've made some money, you want to protect your money. So I bought $300,000 worth, no, sorry, $270,000 worth of SGOV across my main account and my Roth IRA. All my money is in SGOV. It's earning me about $34 a day. So about $9 grand a year it would earn me if I left it there for the year. I won't be doing that. I'll be selling it the moment I feel that the market is ready to buy back and there's value once again. So that's what I've done. That's where all my money's gone. It's gone into SGOV. It's a tax-free state investment as well, Roth or IRA or main account. So if you are in Texas, where I am, it doesn't make a difference because there's no state taxes. But if you are in California or New York, this is a big plus for you because you can get no state tax on your brokerage account with the SGOV. Of course, on the Roth IRA, it makes no difference anyway. But that's what I've done with my money. And the moment value returns to the market, I'll start buying again. Now, after I bought that, I asked myself, I wonder if Warren Buffett owns any T-bills. These are short-term T-bills, not long-term T-bills. And I actually looked at the Berkshire Hathaway prospectus, and when Warren Buffett says we have cash on the sidelines, and you know they have billions, it's actually T-bills, not cash. All right, people think he's got a big pile of cash somewhere in a bank earning zero. No, it's in T-bills, short-term treasury bills. I didn't go into the depths of which particular product he's bought, but it would be the same as this. I'm sure it'd be SGOV. So that's why I've done it. It's a very safe thing to do. It's better than earning 3.75 on uninvested cash in Robinhood. It's just as liquid. And some people said to me, well, what happens if the rates go down? Well, if the rates go down, that's okay because it will hardly affect the asset at all because then the actual asset itself will become more desirable if the rates go down because people were getting lesser deals on the newer projects, on the new the bills that come out. So that's exactly what I've done. So you all know. So I'm sitting now in cash, but it's actually T-bills earning me about $30-something a day, tax-free in part. And when it's right to sell, I'll sell. I can access it 24 hours a day, 5 days a week on Robinhood. It's not like I've got to sit around and wait for something to happen. I can get in straight away, and then I can start buying back the S&P or Coca-Cola if that presents the best opportunity, or even crypto if that presents the best opportunity. Remember, when you have money, you start thinking about how to protect money. And I'm not the only one who does that. I was quite happy when I discovered that Warren Buffett does the same thing. Any thoughts to that, Sensei? I think we've got another couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, I love it. We were discussing this off air yesterday as well. Once you've got a nice pile of a nice amount of money, you can actually earn quite a lot with different ways of buying government debt, and sometimes more tax advantages to it. Again, always speak to your tax advisor. But yeah, there's always opportunities out there. Even people are now leverage buying these treasury bills as well and earning more yield. So very interesting strategy. So congratulations to you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a great conversation. It does feel good, and I shared on X last night. I actually feel more love towards my wins when they are small. Actually, when there's something quite amazing about earning. For me, it's about $35, something like that, a day by doing absolutely nothing. About 9 grand a year by doing absolutely nothing with no risk whatsoever. It feels actually wonderful, and it reminds me of how I bought my house with the $1 bills I earned on the cruise ships. It doesn't always have to be a big dramatic win. This feels more like a win because it really is a win. If your asset goes up today 100%, it doesn't mean anything until you actually sell it, and then where do you go next? It's not just when you leave, where do you go next? So when you actually earn money, it's really your money, and it gets paid out every month, of course, and I can sell whatever I want and get the return. It's beautiful to watch. The chart is really strange when you watch it go up and down a cent every single day, and it just goes up really, really quickly, and every day it just goes up, and for the 30 days, and then it pays out. Then of course it starts again, it builds up again. That's how it works. It's quite interesting to watch. But I feel quite good that I've got good company with Warren Buffett. I had no idea that's how he did it, but when I looked, I thought, there you go. That's a great mind think alike. I felt justified in doing that, because I know everyone thinks it's boring and silly and you're going to miss something, but I won't miss anything. Even if it rallies 5-10%, it will pull back, and when it pulls back, that's when I'll buy, and I'll buy big, and I'll be ready, and I'll make money all over again. Anyway, thank you ever so much, Sensei, for taking the call. This is my holiday, just having a cup of tea, and those reviews will be out shortly. There's lots of reviews coming out for you guys. And this is our new time. You may have seen our post, and thank you, Sensei, spot on. We say you can set your clock to us. We think it's important. We think you are the most important people for this show. You are the stars of the show. We are simply the engine drivers, and we appreciate you so much. So you can rely on us every single trading day and every Saturday. We are here at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Sensei was there for you this morning, and it was great to see you all here. I'm now going to hand you back because it's just about to start. Have a great day. Good luck all. Remember, take care of your money, and most importantly, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you very much, Martyn, for calling in. That was great. That was Martyn, obviously, the channel owner here from holiday. He is still at home, but he feels like he's on holiday. He's got that picture of Cornwall behind him. We're coming up to the speech. Speech is starting in about 1 minute's time. We've got it live and lined up, ready for you. They are not live yet. We'll bring that to you as soon as that starts. Remember, we got the Fed minutes yesterday, which was slightly dovish, but still had the rhetoric of, remember this from September last month, which was slightly dovish, but also had concerns about inflation and tariffs. This is another chance for Jerome Powell to come out and say that he's worried about the banking sector, the jobs market. That will push the markets up. Remember, last time we had Jerome Powell speak was Jackson Hole, and at the Jackson Hole speech, we got confirmation that rate cuts were coming, and the market exploded. The markets are severely overbought, but if we get some more good news from Jerome Powell, we can go into the euphoric stage of the market where everything pumps quite heavily, and then essentially, I think, obviously, Martyn is thinking that crash is coming. He's out of the market. I think a crash will come after that euphoric run. Either way, we are expecting a pull down in the markets in the future, but I think that this could push the markets back to all-time highs. He's speaking at the banking conference, so expect it to be more talking about the regional banking stress, credit conditions, broader lending environments. I'm not long, I'm not short on the markets right now. Actually, I'm medium-term long on the markets right now. In my leverage positions, I am still in crypto, but I'm not trading this speech specifically. I think that is too high risk to do that. We are now in the room waiting for the information to come out. This is the Community Banking Conference, and it's about to start now. So we're going to tune in. If everyone could just take 1 second to please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's tune into this. We'll give our analysis afterwards. We'll be commentating throughout it as well. But just take a second to subscribe and hit the like button. That will be great. Here we go. Let's tune in.
Ready. The bathrooms are down the hall and to the right.
Brilliant.
Second, please silence your cell phones. Third, this is a reminder that today's event is being live streamed on the board's YouTube channel. If you ask a question during Q&A, please wait for a microphone and identify yourself. Lastly, as I'm sure you've already discovered, the Federal Reserve is a secure facility. We ask that you please keep your security name tag on all day long, with, of course, the exception of panelists up.
Okay, while she's talking about this, let's just take a quick look at the market. Bitcoin has rallied into this speech. We've got the S&P 500. What is it doing as we speak? The S&P 500 is completely flat on the day. What else do we have going on? We've got silver potentially breaking out into it's just broken all-time highs. Silver is now just hitting $50 an ounce. That is an all-time high. Last time it hit this level was in about 2011, and before that it was 1980. And we're hitting all-time highs, potentially a short squeeze on silver. And as we know, gold is just powering forward. $4,040 an ounce. Remember, when gold goes up, there's something wrong internally. Banks all around the world are buying gold. Let's see. Here we go. Jerome Powell.
Economic conditions.
Let me just. This is Jerome Powell. He's got his live recording. It started about 20 seconds ago. So let me go here.
Vital role for staff for supervision. I'm sorry that I'm traveling. Good morning and welcome to the Federal Reserve Board. I'm sorry that I'm traveling today and could not be with you. Thank you to Vice Chair for Supervision, Mickey Bowman, for hosting this conference. Thank you also to all the board staff that made this event possible. Community banks play a vital role in the U.S. financial system because they have strong links to the people and businesses they serve and direct knowledge of local economic conditions. These close ties allow community bankers to better understand their customers and the ensuing products and services for those they serve. I saw this clearly when I led the board's Community and Regional Banks Subcommittee as a governor. I have also seen the critical role of community banks in the communities where I've lived, including as a community bank customer. Today's event is a helpful opportunity for Fed leaders to hear from community bankers and learn more about the issues you face. We're committed to understanding these issues, and we have long been committed to tailoring our supervisory practices as appropriate for community banks to reduce unnecessary burden, while still ensuring that community banks continue to operate in a safe and sound manner. Thank you so much for being here today to share your knowledge and experience, and thanks for being such a vital part of the communities that you serve.
I think we'll be getting more than that from Jerome Powell. I think we will get more. I mean, we're going to have a few more speeches now. Let's just see what's happening.
Thank you to Chair Powell for opening our conference this morning. It's so wonderful to see all of you here in Washington, again with us, to discuss and celebrate community banking and to talk about what the future is going to look like. Good morning, Secretary. So it's a privilege for us to be here today and for me to be here with you at the Federal Reserve Board with so many of our nation's bank CEOs, community bank CEOs. I want to start by thanking our bankers for the essential work that you do every day, serving your communities, supporting small businesses and families, and keeping local.
Okay, I think that might. Okay, let me just check because that doesn't seem right. That can't just be it. If that is it, stay with me. I'm going to give you some insights into the market. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the crypto cycles. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the stock market bubble, my thoughts on AI. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the crash. I'm going to give you my thoughts on gold and silver. There's plenty I can talk about, but I'm hoping Jerome Powell has got more than that. This is a highly anticipated event in the markets.
Also, the value of having strong.
Let's just tune in for another minute, and then this is important, but this will be quite boring to watch. Let me just tune in for one more minute, and then I'm going to give you all my thoughts. So just wait here for 1 second. Let's see what she's saying.
There are more than 100 community bank CEOs in person and many more at Our panels include CEOs from across our diverse financial system. And I look forward to hearing directly from these leaders.
Okay, she's just introducing everyone. We might come back to it, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We've got quite a large audience, and I don't want you guys to just be watching something that's not too interesting. Let's just go through specific things. I'm going to talk to you about the crypto cycles, where I think we are. I'm going to talk to you about, let's just go through each one. Let's talk about Bitcoin firstly. I'm going to give you all my thoughts and opinions. Remember, nothing is financial advice. These are my thoughts and opinions only. Please don't buy or sell based off anything I say. The first thing I'm going to ask everyone to do, if you are live with us, please do make sure you hit the like button. Please do make sure you are subscribed. So, right now, Bitcoin is trading at $123,130. It is actually now just flipped up on the day, or it's just coming up to being up on the day. I do think that Bitcoin is going to continue in the bull market. My next targets, I'm going to go through everything very quickly, so do stay with me. Did you fast forward the video? No, I did not fast forward the video, Daniel. I'm going to go through everything. Bitcoin, gold, don't worry, I see all the chats coming through. I do think Bitcoin is going to go to all-time highs. The level I think it's going to go to is 130,000 first. I'll give you all my targets and what that means. So I think the next target for Bitcoin is 131,000. I think we're going to get that this month. In my opinion, I'm very confident in that. And then after that, I think I do have further targets on Bitcoin. I'm not someone who's going to say Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million next year. I'm trying to be a bit more realistic. I do think the next target for Bitcoin with a couple Fibonacci levels would be closer to the $140,000 level. So I am expecting about just under 150,000. That could be the peak of this whole cycle, 150,000 for Bitcoin. But the bigger question is where does the altcoin market go? The altcoin market, historically, at the end of the cycle is when it explodes. And what we can look at, a few indicators of that would be the Bitcoin dominance chart. How much? I'm going to come on to gold, stocks, AI in a second, so do stay with me. I see a few comments coming in. Did Powell's speech end? So far, yes. He might come back. I think Powell will come back and give some more remarks, but right now it's not.
Each of our sessions today reflects a shared belief.
No, right now it's introducing everyone. So we might get some more Fed speakers in maybe 10, 20 minutes. So we're going to do our own analysis in the meantime. Bitcoin dominance is currently set at 59%. Remember, we've been looking at this chart. We've been looking at where we thought it will top out at 65%. The altcoins started taking off after that. Remember, back in December of 2024, we predicted that the Bitcoin dominance will come down. That's when we saw XRP go from 30 cents to $3. That's when we saw Ethereum bounce from 1,500 to about 3,000. So Bitcoin dominance does tell us when the money's going to start flowing out of Bitcoin and into the altcoins, and vice versa, out of the altcoins into Bitcoin. That's normally in the bear market. So right now, the money is flowing from altcoins into Bitcoin. We were tracking the downtrend. Now we're tracking the uptrend. Sorry for the messy chart. I was just annotating it. We broke out of... I've got something crawling on the screen. I think you guys just saw that go past. That was funny. So we got a base. We got a breakout. Bitcoin dominance is heading up. That means liquidity is flowing into Bitcoin. That means Bitcoin can go to 150,000. And then after that, I think we will come down and continue this move down. Money flowing from Bitcoin into the altcoin market. That means, for example, XRP going to $5, $10. That means, thank you for becoming a member.
Has become a member.
That means it's not disgusting. It's a ladybug. Don't worry. That means XRP go to $5, $10. We are quite bullish on XRP here on the channel. We've been covering it from about 30 cents. That means Ethereum going to 8,000 to 12,000. That means ETFs, we're expecting all crypto altcoin ETFs. That means Solana ETFs, XRP ETFs, Ethereum ETF, not Ethereum ETFs, they're already out. Litecoin ETFs, we expect them all to come out in, let me move this timer. We expect them all to come out in October. Remember, we were expecting them, we had exact dates, but the filing structure changed. We're now going over to S1, but they can only get approved once the government shutdown ends. So in my opinion, 1 week after the government shutdown ends, we'll get crypto ETFs like we've never seen before, and that will cause a pump in the crypto markets. Let's quickly move over to gold and silver, because you need to know about gold and silver if you're investing in the markets. And before we do, every single morning, if you are a real investor and you want to know all the knowledge, all the top stories, we have our very own newsletter. You get today's stories at a glance. If you've got 3 minutes to, or like 30 seconds to look at your emails, well, you can see all the top stories at a glance. If you've got more time, you can go and look at the one big thing, the money move. If you like any of those, if you want to explore any of those stories at a glance in a bit more detail, well, they are below for you. You can read the full story. There's no ads. There is a free plan. You can sign up to it. You can control your notifications, whether you get it on the app, in your emails. You can read all these top stories. Then there is a deep dive section, whether that's a stock review, a crypto review. We're not sponsored by anyone. We give our own opinions. I spend 3-4 hours every morning putting this newsletter out. I think it's the best form of news that goes out. You get the deep dive, whether it's a macro news or some policies. You then also get the economic calendar, what's happening every day, what speeches are coming out. Yes, we do have speeches coming out as well from Fed Bowman. That might be, here we go. We've got the Fed, we've got a speech coming out right now. So we'll go back to that stream right now. Here we go.
Growth on the Main Street side of the ledger.
But if you do like any of that, that's in our newsletter. I'll give you the link. It's pinned right now. First link in the description. It will be in the live chat right now. Do subscribe to the newsletter.
As the banks serve Wall Street. But the post-crisis regulatory framework has instead become a threat to the community bank model. Since 2010, we've lost 3,600 community banks, a reduction of over 45%. Community bank share of bank assets have fallen from 23%. Their share of outstanding bank loans has fallen from 27% to 20%. Their share of outstanding bank CRE loans has fallen from 52% to 41%. This represents an acceleration of trends that predate the 2008 financial crisis. And in a disturbing new development, de novo chartering has dropped precipitously, averaging just 6 new banks per year since 2010. For comparison, in the years prior to 2008, there were 100+ new banks chartered each year. The post-crisis framework has left a trail of destruction in its wake by reinforcing the larger economic dynamics that have hollowed out the American heartland while enriching the money centers in coastal cities. To be clear, the financial crisis underscored the need for new regulations. The purpose of Dodd-Frank was to end too big to fail, but it ended up creating too small to succeed. These new regulations entrench the dominance of the largest banks by rewarding economies of scale and necessitating effective lobbying operations here in Washington. What followed was a community bank bottleneck that left America's hometowns reeling. President Trump and this administration have seen what the heavy hand of government has done to community banks and the families you all serve, and he has set out to fix it. Why? Because we know that the Main Street revival starts with a community.
This is Scott Bessent talking right now. This is important. We'll come back to analysis in a second.
Let's start with the early wins. Just days after President Trump was sworn into office, the administration began rolling back the regulatory excesses of the Biden years. The regulators ended the politicized use of reputation risk and supervision. They proposed to rescind an embarrassing, complicated 60,000-word Community Reinvestment Act rule, and they retracted a merger policy statement that was both bad policy and bad law. The previous administration pushed for rules and guidance that micromanage corporate governance entangled the bank regulators in climate risk management, unduly restricted brokered deposits, precluded responsible bank innovation in crypto and other blockchain technologies, and imposed arbitrary restrictions on incentive compensation. These Biden-era proposals were bad for banks, bad for business, and bad for America, especially Main Street. So President Trump slashed all of them.
This is Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, talking right now, and he's talking about how crypto is good. So we might expect a pump there. Let's go back to him.
Agenda. The FDIC, for example, has recommitted to tailoring by proposing to raise and index asset thresholds. It has streamlined examination
Bitcoin flipped green on the day.
and branch applications. It has started work to reestablish a supervisory appeals body. Not to be outdone, the OCC has implemented its own reforms. Controller Gould has been on the job for only 12 weeks, but he has already reduced assessments on small banks by 30%, reversed the plan to merge community bank supervision into large bank supervision, and replaced community banks' formulaic examination schedules with a more risk-based approach. Vice Chair Bowman, meanwhile, has long advocated for revisiting the community bank leverage ratio. I expect that effort will soon culminate in a proposed reduction in the community bank leverage ratio. The CFPB, for its part, has started to revamp the Section 1071 reporting requirements and reconsider the open banking rule. And it has withdrawn more than 60 interpretive rules and other guidance documents. Following the administration's example, Congress has also taken up the effort. It has nullified the CFPB's overdraft rule and prohibited the furnishing of mortgage-related trigger leads. The House Financial Service Committee has likewise advanced 24 important reforms to community bank regulation, while the Senate Banking Committee held a hearing and hopefully will soon mark up an expansion of FDIC.
Do stay tuned. We're giving away $2,000 worth of XRP live on the show. Say yes in the chat if you want the link.
This includes 2 new proposals that will reset the culture of supervision. 2 days ago, the FDIC and the OCC proposed a rule that would codify the recently adopted prohibition on using reputation risk as a basis for supervisory criticism. The FDIC and the OCC also proposed a rule that would define unsafe or unsound practice or condition. While simply defining a term might sound like a small thing, it marks a big step forward. Only in the world of unaccountable regulators could a key concept have gone unidentified.
Everyone say yes in the chat for $2,000.
The past failure to define this term led to supervisory criticisms focused on process or documentation related to governance, model management, and third-party risk management. In other words, topics that often had little or nothing to do with a bank's actual financial condition. This regulatory myopia was the driving force behind the spring of 2020-23 bank failures. Once finalized, a clear focus on material financial risk will put an end to this nonsense. I'm also optimistic about AML CFT reform. In my meetings with community bankers, they list CTR filings, structuring SARs, and process-focused.
After Scott Bessent's speech, stay around. I'm going to tell you how you can win $2,000 live on the show in XRP.
Address pain points on some of these issues, including triggers for restructuring SARs, continuing activity reviews, and the absence of any requirement to document a decision not to file a SAR. These are common sense, yet consequential reforms that will ease regulatory burdens without undermining law enforcement efforts. As part of our broader campaign to modernize illicit finance regulation, FinCEN and the bank regulators are hard at work on a new rule to define the requirements for an effective AML CFT program. My expectation is that a proposal will recenter supervision where it should be, on the effectiveness of a bank's AML CFT program. I likewise expect The proposal will position FinCEN as a gatekeeper for AML CFT enforcement. This will be a significant departure from the past with its zero tolerance focus on process, documentation, and wide latitude for supervisory expectations and judgments that are not always consistent with the law or our national security priorities. A focus.
Thank you, everyone, saying yes. I will give you the link after this speech ends. We are analysing Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. This is an important speech.
All important victories, to be sure, but much work remains to be done. Where do we go from here? Going forward, Treasury will continue to drive reforms to improve regulatory tailoring, refocus the culture of supervision, and modernize our illicit finance regulation. Specific priorities will include reforms to the rating system, new processes for monitoring examiners' compliance with supervisory policy, mechanism for independent appeals of supervisory criticisms, coordination to avoid duplicative examinations by different regulators, and review of the core platform providers, including contract terms that prevent community banks from innovating for the future. For community banks to go back on the offensive, we need to take a closer look at the dynamics that have undermined the community bank model and work to fix them.
Discord general
To that end,
chat
as
video.
I have said before,
Ladybug emoji.
Treasury
Winking
is
face
focused
emoji.
on ensuring that modernization of our capital framework ends the capital arbitrage that drives bank lending to non-banks. This will likely entail reduced capital requirements for large banks on mortgage loans, investment-grade corporate loans, and some other important exposures. We must therefore ensure parity by giving smaller banks at least the option to benefit from these reduced requirements. Treasury has also supported congressional efforts to modernize the deposit insurance framework. I'm encouraged to see emerging bipartisan support for.
Everyone take a second to subscribe and hit the like button. If we get the subscribers up and the likes up, I will tell you about the $2,000 giveaway. Everyone take 1 second to do that. We are analyzing these speeches as we speak.
Any actions on the GSEs must not increase borrowing costs and must preserve what works in the current system. That includes the prohibition on volume-based discounts for large lenders, as well as the cash window and other features that preserve equal secondary market access for small lenders. Now, allow me to close with a call for action. Before President Trump took office, community banks spent decades on the defense. But under President Trump's leadership, the game has changed. The playing field will be even more even. The ball is in your hands again. What happens next is up to you. So my advice, go on the offense, retake market share, chase after customers, champion technology, leverage the new regulatory landscape to your advantage, and expand your role in the American economy. The community bank comeback will help pave the way for America's golden age. Recognize the outsized role you play in this effort and embrace it. Because if you lead the way, Main Street will follow. Thank you.
That was Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, talking to the community banks and telling them to use that new regulation under Donald Trump, the deregulation, to start bringing in more customers, to start using technologies. He by name mentioned the crypto markets. Bitcoin on that speech flipped from red to green. We've got tokens such as XRP, which will be great for the banking industry, still down on the day, but they are trying to come back up. We've got multiple speeches planned for you in today's show. We've got Jerome Powell speaking. He spoke to begin with. We might get another Jerome Powell speech. We're coming back to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent for some questions. I'm going to give you the link for a $2,000 XRP giveaway in the chat. It's going to be live on the show. We're giving away $2,000 live. We're a real channel. We talk to all our members. It's free to enter, free for all. There's no catch. Essentially, all you have to do is go to the link. You get free tickets, and all you do by getting the tickets is just very simple tasks. Post something on X, follow us on X, subscribe to a newsletter for free. All of these things you can do all of these entries in about 2 minutes, and you get more and more tickets to win. It's free to enter, free for all. You can see there's not many entries at all. I'll give you the link in the chat. You click on it, you sign in with your email, and it takes you like 2 minutes to do all the entries, and we will draw it live on the show. So I'm going to give you that link now while we tune into this. I'm going to give you my thoughts on gold, silver, Bitcoin, bull market, rate cuts, 3 rate cuts potentially confirmed, and more speeches to come. So let's tune back in while I give you that link in the live chat.
Fiscal year ending September 30th will be slightly lower. When I went to see President Trump and more importantly, the deficit to GDP now has a 5 in front of it. So according to the CBO numbers, and we don't have the Treasury numbers yet,
someone said it's not free. It's completely free. No money at all. It's completely free.
Highest when we weren't at war or weren't in a recession in U.S. history to 5.9%. When I went to see President Trump approximately 2 years ago to tell him that I'd like to come out from behind my desk and get involved with the campaign, not going to repeat many private conversations, but this was particularly notable. He looked at me, first thing he said, Scott, how are we going to get the debt and deficits down and not cause a recession? And we're on our way. I think we saw that today. So I think the president's economic policy, as many of you would have seen me say before, is a 3-legged stool: trade, tax, and deregulation. The tax bill, the one big beautiful bill, has incentives for both corporate America in terms of full expensing for plant property and equipment, and the plant part is new. In the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2017, there was full expensing for equipment, but we have added structures for both industrial structures and, importantly, agricultural structures. So, secondly, on the other side of the ledger, it also includes the president's tax policies or campaign promises for working Americans: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, low tax on Social Security, and interest deductibility if you buy an American car. I think one of the things that we are
Bitcoin
seeing
is
now,
pumping on this.
most taxpayers have not changed their withholding stance to reflect this. So we expect to see substantial tax refunds beginning of next year, which I think will be accrue to lower end consumers for the bottom 50% who need the relief. And concurrently, they will change their withholding schedule, so their real take-home pay will be higher next year. On the trade deals, I think one of the underreported aspects of the trade deals is not only are we taking in substantial tariff revenue for our American exporters, we have brought down non-tariff trade barriers and brought down tariffs across the board. So with many of the deals that we have gone from high tariff levels, and I tell you, like, for instance, Indonesia was very good about bringing down their tariff levels, but when they showed you the list of 9,000 tariffs that they had, you couldn't believe it. So, and like President Trump said, I don't blame the Indonesians for doing it. You blame the folks who were sitting at the Resolute desk for letting it happen. So on trade, we're landing the trade deals. That will increase certainty. And then finally, on deregulation, we talked a lot about financial deregulation, but we're also talking about energy and industrial deregulation. We're trying to make it easy to build things here again in America, whether it's permitting for factories, for pipelines, for the electric grid. So I think I'm very optimistic that 2026 could be a very good year across the corporate and the consumer economy.
Well, thank you for that. You've been very busy since you got started earlier this year. So thank you for sharing that. And I think that's a very optimistic view about how the
Stay with me. We're going to get more speeches from different Fed chairmen. We're going to do a full analysis on the market, the AI bubble, the gold and silver all-time highs, the Bitcoin market. We're going to do all of that in this video. I'm also going to give you tickets to win $2,000, extra ways to win specifically for this stream as well. So stay with us, and then we'll go through all your comments. So do make sure you're liking and subscribing. Let's continue with the speech. This is live.
Economy will be evolving, I think, in the relatively near future. Thinking about that, community banks are critical in providing local and regional credit throughout their communities, through small towns, through rural areas, and in underserved markets especially. So you talked a little bit about what some of the initiatives are that Treasury's been working on with the prudential regulators. Are there other areas that you'd like to focus on or to share with us today that might be helpful for bankers to know?
Well, as you said earlier, I may be one of the few, if not the only Treasury Secretary who's given this much emphasis to community banks, probably the only Treasury Secretary since the 17 or 1800s who lives, well, there wouldn't have been farm radio, but is also a farmer. So I remember listening to farm radio.
Gold pumping.
Right after the Silicon Valley debacle, or the three-bank debacle, and they were talking about the risks to community banks that were happening, that could be happening here. And I was just struck by what the presenter was saying. He said, the big banks, they're going to come in, they're going to buy up our banks. They don't play Little League Baseball with your son. They don't play softball with your daughter. They don't go to your place of worship. They don't know you from the Rotary Club. What are we going to do? And so we are committed, as I said. I'd like to see us getting back to de novo banks. Again, it's a sign that when you see creation of something, it's a sign that the ecosystem's healthy. So we want to get back to de novo. We want to get back to leveling the playing field. I think these transaction accounts are very important. We try at Treasury, we try to meet with dozens of community banks, whether it's one-on-one or in groups every month. And one of the main asks that we got was increasing the non-interest-bearing transaction account. So we've been working very closely with Senator Tim Scott on that. And I think we haven't landed the exact amount yet, but I think that legislation is going to move through.
Well, it's wonderful to hear some progress in some of these areas that have been a topic of conversation for a number of years. So thank you for your support in working towards some solutions in that regard. Later today, we're going to have a panel of community bankers to talk about capital and liquidity regulations. So I wondered if you might be willing to share your views and thoughts about how we could appropriately calibrate those capital and liquidity levels, especially for community banks, but maybe more broadly across the banking system to be more effective for economic growth and how to support the economy going forward.
I think if we take a step back, we could see that the substantial amount of credit that is being grown outside of the regulated banking system tells you that the regulatory framework that was developed post-Dodd-Frank is too tight, and that there is this substantial arbitrage to be done.
Gold is moving to all-time highs once again. Silver is at all-time highs.
Why do we have private credit that is bundling loans and then receiving lines of credit from banks?
Do make sure you stay with us. This is Scott Bessent talking right now about banks, crypto. There's going to be more Fed speakers. There might be Jerome Powell coming back with a speech. We're going to analyze the AI bubble. We're going to analyze the crypto market. We're going to give away tickets to win $2,000 worth of XRP live on the show, free to enter, free for all. A lot coming up in the show, so make sure you are subscribed and you are hitting the like button. There's a lot to come. So we're just tuning in to Scott Bessent as we speak.
Let's get back to the primary lending function. Let's make capital more risk-based. Let's understand that there's a lot of work to do in terms of bringing this back down
Silver
to
is exploding.
common sense levels. in terms of knowing your client, in terms of releasing what I would say is this regulatory straitjacket. And famous last words, I think private credit is a dynamic new aspect that increases the depth and breadth of the U.S. financial system, but it can't be to the detriment of the regulated system, because my real worry with private credit is everyone in this room, all the bankers, and look, you know, I met a lot of banks who've been going since the 1800s. And if you've been going since the 1800s, you know a lot about risk management. You know how capital works. You know how your clients are. My worry with private credit is it could be very pro-cyclical, that without stable deposits, in terms of if there were a downturn, the way Treasury and Federal Reserve would work together would be with window guidance, would be with regulatory lessening the regulatory parameters, and to restart the economy in a counter-cyclical basis. So we also want to look at that. And again, too, a lot
Silver
of the
is
things we
short
want to do,
squeezing,
we
or
want
it
to
can
make
be
it
very
easier
soon.
to operate. We had a small community bank from South Carolina a couple of weeks ago in one of our panels. I think it was 185 million of assets, 17 employees. I think 5 were for compliance. So, and no one.
NVIDIA is up there approving sales to the United Arab Emirates.
On financial crimes, our FinCEN department is 24/7 in terms of what we are trying to work on, but we're also trying to add a common sense layer. Can we do geographic targeting? If we see that a huge amount of the narco finance is along the border, should we lower SARs there and raise them everywhere else to avoid all this regulatory expense?
Well, I think that's a very important topic for many community bankers as they think about some of the regulatory burden and requirements that they're not sure what happens to once they
Wow,
send it
look at the
forward.
subscribers.
One thing I want to just pull a thread on is you mentioned the importance of ensuring that we have the ability as regulators and bankers are not disincentivized from participating in different types of activities. One thing I would point to, and I have many times over the years, is to talk about how important it is that we're pulling some of these activities back into the regulated financial system, especially real estate lending and mortgage servicing and things of that nature. So I know many of these bankers in the room are hopeful that we'll be able to think about that differently. So when you discuss the regulatory perimeter, I think that's a very positive path for discussion, and we'll look forward to engaging on that.
And look, I mean, no one knows when you talk about real estate, no one knows the real estate landscape like local bankers.
Absolutely.
Maybe there's some banks around the Ozarks who like lending down in Florida, but I hope they're successful. But I will tell you that community banks. I'm sure all of you read all the news reports. Oh, community banks hold all the small community banks. It's going to be a debacle. They hold all these CRE loans. And for 15 or 20 years, initial 15 or 20 years of my career, I was a banks and insurance analyst. So I know how banks work. I may seem exciting, but I used to read state insurance call reports.
Those are fascinating.
Gripping is the only word. But I can tell you that to the extent I was successful was being fact-based and not narrative-based. And as we dug down on what was supposed to be a CRE wipeout for community banks, it turned out that they really weren't CRE loans, that they were business loans. And we just went out and talked to small and community bankers. They were business loans where the business person put up their building as collateral. So you didn't have a loan on a part of a strip mall. You didn't have a loan on a pod. It was an accounting firm that was financed, you had a loan to an accounting firm, you had a loan to a law firm, you had a loan to a medical practice. So, and only community banks know that.
Well, it's refreshing, again, to hear the Treasury Secretary talk about community banking in a way that helps us recognize that you do have a background in it and that you're serious about the words that you're saying in support of community banking. So thank you for your commitment to that and for sharing that with everyone here today. One thing everybody's a little bit concerned about going forward is the shift in the technological landscape. And banks for a long time have been innovating. It's been a hallmark of the community banking framework and their survival since the 1800s, which I have to say thank you for mentioning banks that were founded in 1800s, because my family's bank was chartered in 1882. So that's a little peace of mind here that you think that they understand their risks. So that's I'll have to share that with my cousin. But on innovation,
XRP trying
banks
to
have
go
been
up, but
partnering
still
with
down on
fintechs
the day.
for a number of years now, and we continue to add more and more requirements about third-party risk management, and oftentimes they don't make sense, or they conflict with each other, or they contradict what the requirements are. As we're thinking about how the landscape with technology, with AI, with stable coins and other types of new business services and activities are being brought forward through the sponsorship of legislation and new regulatory frameworks for stablecoins and things like that. Today we have the Robinhood CEO and also the Paxos CEO to share their views on how community banks can engage or think about how that will look going forward. But
Robinhood CEO coming up live.
Technology evolving in the banking sector, and what policy levers do you think that we could use to help ensure that community banks can compete effectively in the new technology environment?
I think it was very important. If I look, one of the biggest regulatory changes from the Biden administration to the Trump administration, there have been a lot of them, is our emphasis on AI and digital assets. AI in the Biden administration was governed by diffusion. They were going to treat it somewhat like the nuclear program, keep it in a box. They were going to hand it to Google, Microsoft, Meta, and that was life. On the other side, digital assets had a near extinction event with Wells notices going out to many companies, banks prohibited from opening accounts. And I think the fact that we're creating, the term is sandbox, where there's a lot of experimentation, where there are a lot more offerings, and for community banks not to be locked in that they have to use like one of three dominant service providers. That
Ole
for
Gunderson
a wider
donated 50
range
Norwegian
of
kroner
supply
through a
will
super
push
chat.
down price,
Let's try to get
choice
1,000
will
likes.
inform
Thumbs up
if
emoji
community
in this
bankers
show. Come on guys, don't be lazy.
are,
Smiley
and
face
the
emoji.
owners, whether they're
Sparkles emoji.
family-owned banks, whether the shareholders are usually in the vicinity, and I think that they will be laser focused on the new technologies. And just like with the credit card companies, I think that new payment rails will exist, and I think we have to make sure that it's open for everybody. JP Morgan, Bank of America may have their own stable coin, but I think it's very easy, and you'll hear, you have two great participants, that you will hear that for community bankers to join together, whether it's in some kind of a cooperative program, whether, but you can private label these under your own name, and it doesn't necessarily have to increase deposit beta. The other thing we're going to do, because we value community banks, we are going to make sure that any new regulation is done in a safe, sound, and not abrupt manner. That there will be a transition, and everyone will be able to understand it and participate in it.
Great. Well, I think that's wonderful news for all of our CEOs in the room and everyone listening virtually. I think it's important, as you said, that all banks can participate in this new economic environment, and that we're creating a framework that will allow for safe and sound engagement, as well as ensuring that whatever customers are interested in doing, that banks have that opportunity through a sandbox. That's an excellent idea, and it's great to go back to those ideas from the first Trump administration, where we were actively engaging with office hours, where we would bring in fintechs and bankers to talk about how they wanted to expand businesses in a way that was appropriate and met our expectations.
And I also think too, how many people in this room's first savings account was a Christmas club at the local bank? Right. So, are we going to develop the new kind of crypto Christmas club? I like that.
That's an interesting idea, yeah.
CCC, Crypto Christmas Club. and because I do think one of the great things about crypto is it's bringing young people into the markets, into the financial industry, and I think that community banks that will be at the front line of providing that. You have a natural advantage in terms of going into the schools, in terms of financial education, in terms of financial literacy. I think Mickey's heard me tell the story. My deep, dark secret is that, and a lot of people from South Carolina have it, I have a Dr. Pepper every morning for breakfast. I'm not allowed to do it at home, so which used to take me to the Circle K on Meeting Street in Charleston, South Carolina. And in there, there'd be a lot of young construction workers getting ready to go to work. They'd see me dressed like this, and they'd be playing the lottery. They'd say, "Mister, when I win the lottery, will you manage my money?" I said, "Well, the first thing you can do is not play the lottery." But imagine if that group that were involved in digital assets, if they've been putting that $20 of their hard-earned money from construction work, from their blue-collar jobs into digital assets over this time, and it's going to be community banks that do it. It's not going to be the big national banks. So, I think that to be able to cater to that audience is going to really provide opportunity for a lot of growth.
Well, I got to say that my theory has always been you can't win if you don't play. So, whatever venue that is, I look forward to seeing how all of those things evolve over the next 10, 20 years, maybe even sooner. But before I ask you the last question about the future of community banking, I want to just touch on some of the legislative proposals that are being considered. There's a big groundswell of discussion about asset thresholds, potentially changing when and how certain regulatory requirements will apply to community banks and other banks of other sizes, including regional banks. How's Treasury thinking about those proposals, and what principles should guide those thresholds as legislators and as regulators are thinking about those going forward?
Well, I think we should think about it in two ways. One, we always think about it inflation adjustments, whether it's for Social Security, sometimes for capital gains. So there's probably a big catch-up to do in terms of asset thresholds. Just the economy's grown, the asset size has grown for bank lending, and like I said, we want to bring it back into the regulated system. So I think that it will be natural to raise many of these thresholds. But then I think
stay with us. A lot of analysis coming up. 20 more likes and we hit 1,000 likes. Let's do it.
How risky, in terms of how have you grown your balance sheet? Does it look like something like Silicon Valley Bank, that with a lot of deposit beta? So yeah, I think it's those two, but I definitely believe that we do need a substantial increase in terms of the regulatory levels, and maybe even an increase from the $10 billion. When does the Fed get involved?
I think those are really great topics of conversation. And I think more and more I'm having discussions, as I'm sure you are too, with regional banks who are being frozen at a certain asset level size so that they're not crossing that $100 billion threshold, or a community banker that's being frozen just below $10 billion in assets simply because so many different thresholds of many, many kinds and different regulations and statutes bite.
Or one of the
at that
banks
point.
we had come in, and you would think that if a longstanding big customer came in and put a big deposit in at the end of the year, you'd be excited, but they would, no, we can't take it because it's going to push us over 500 million,
Right.
and then the trigger there. So we want to make sure that you're able to grow without the setting off these regulatory tripwires.
Well, I look forward to chatting with you about that going forward and seeing how all of us as in the regulatory space can think about how we can more effectively allow banks to manage for their growth and their size, especially when they're not changing their business model. But finally, on the topic of the future of community banking, over the next 5 to 10 years, how do you see the biggest structural shifts occurring, and how do you think community banks will evolve to meet those challenges in the future? One of the questions that we're asking all of our keynote speakers today is, what does the community bank of 2025 look like?
2025 or 2035?
Oh, sorry, 2035, sorry. I don't have my glasses on. Yes, 2035. It is already 2025.
So the ones that make it through the next 10 years will have embraced technology, have embraced financial modernization, and as I said earlier, I think we'll have brought along a whole new generation of young people into the financial world. Because look, there's a whole group just because of the bad calendar. And they lived through the GFC, they lived through COVID, but when I interact with them, they're curious, they want to be part of the system, and it will have been that. And I think that we will see I don't know if the branch model is as big as it was. We'll see with that. But I think it's all going to center around technology. And so that's the importance of low-cost technological alternatives for the next 10 years.
Not just for 2025.
Not just for 2025.
Yeah, I think one of the wonderful experiences that we've seen over the past throughout COVID and the Paycheck Protection Program was that we have an amazing industry of community banks that are willing to bend over backwards to ensure that they can support their communities. And I look forward to seeing, hopefully we won't have another experience like COVID where we're asking banks to be, the sole provider of fiscal support or loans for their small businesses to keep their economies running and people employed. But I think it's a wonderful recognition of everything that community banks have done over the past at least 5 years to keep our economy running, to keep our people employed in rural communities and in urban communities as well. But thank you for the support that you've provided.
Yeah, and I think that the other big opportunity is going to be what I saw in the local market in Charleston, South Carolina, was when Boeing came in. Boeing doesn't need, other than people in this building, they don't need to bank with anyone in this room. But when Boeing's second largest production facility came in, there was an ecosystem of more than 200 small factories that sprung up. And the small and community banks, some of the small regionals, all moved into Charleston, and they bank every one of those small factories. Some of the factories, some of these startup businesses that have 50, 100, 200 employees. So with this administration's effort to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., I would say when we see, we're talking about bringing back the semiconductor industry, they need 500 companies around them to do that. When we see this precision manufacturing, when you see a multinational company set up, they are going to need a big ecosystem. And the ecosystem, JP Morgan's not interested in the ecosystem, and I think everybody in this room should be.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us and celebrating the agility and flexibility of community banks to solve problems and to meet needs where they arise quickly. And we look forward to the rest of our day today, and we really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, Secretary Bessent.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. We are going to be continuing with the community banks Federal Reserve meeting today. It is continuing shortly. We've got more Fed speakers. We've got Jerome Powell potentially coming up as well. We've got more insights into the crypto world, more insights into rate cuts as well. But right now we've got silver breaking out, potentially having a short squeeze. We've got Bitcoin moving from being red this morning to being green. A lot of catalysts for crypto in that speech. We'll talk about that a little bit more as well. We've got gold, which is absolutely front running a massive trade. I expect the markets to crash next year, and gold is being bought up left, right, and center. All-time highs again. Gold has been on an absolute tear. I'll tell you what that all means as well. But first, make sure you are hitting the like button. Make sure you have subscribed. I'm going to give you your first magic number. What are these magic numbers? Essentially, in that giveaway page, we're giving away $2,000 worth of XRP live on the show. If we get up to 2,000 likes, we'll look at increasing it to $3,000 worth of XRP. You get the XRP, you can hold the XRP, you can sell it for Bitcoin, you can sell it for cash, you can go on a holiday, do what you want with it. It's live on the show, free to enter, free for all. The link is pinned in the live chat. If you click on it right now, it's pinned in the live chat, and essentially what you have to do is a couple entries, and it's very, very easy to do. So what you can do is go through these entries. It takes about 2 minutes to do all of them. This one here is the magic number, which we'll be giving live on this on this show right now. I'll be giving you the comments so you can see it's live on this one right now. You validate your code. I'll give you 3. You add them together, and by the end of the stream, you'll have all 3 numbers. You'll add them together and you enter it here, and you get 20 tickets just by doing that. The rest is a new ticket has just been added. Repost this on X. It's a post I've just made. Repost on X. That's going to be a limited time only. Both of these are limited time only. It's the magic number and the repost. You get another 5 entries. And then you go through the rest. Follow Martyn on X. A repost on X. You can also follow Vaz on X. Follow Martyn on X. You can visit one of our members, Charlotte May Weddings on YouTube, and subscribe to them. It's very, very easy to do. You can do all of these in less than 5 minutes. Just keep an eye out for the extra ones we have just been added, which is the repost me, my post on X, and also we're going to give away 3 magic numbers. Add them together, put them in, and this is free to enter, free for all. We're going to be putting it, doing the giveaway live on the show. It's done fairly. It's not fake. We are a real YouTube channel. We talk to all our members. We're also then going to go into gold, silver, the AI bubble, crypto cycles, my prediction on tokens. I'm going to go through your comments. You're going to just give me chart requests. I'm going to do them one after the other. So we've got a lot planned for today's event, and then we'll be going back if we see anything interesting going on at the Community Bank Conference as well. So it's time for your first magic number. I'm waiting for Martyn to give me the magic numbers. So Martyn, if you've got the magic numbers, let me know in Discord so I can give the first one out. But what I can give you is the first extra entry that we are doing for this event, which is, let me just give it to you now. You can go and repost this and then claim your ticket. Make sure you claim your, let me just go to silver. We'll keep an eye on silver while we're doing this. Silver looks like it's about to short squeeze. I'm going to give you your first ticket entry, which is reposting this on X. If you repost this on X, you can then go over to the giveaway page and claim your ticket. You don't have to repost it again. You just go and claim your ticket. So that's on the giveaway page, but the link is there. Okay, so let me go back to silver. Silver has broken out into all-time highs on silver. This can lead into a short squeeze going off. It can lead to a lot of volatility. Please do be careful. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. These are my thoughts and opinions only, so please do not buy or sell based on anything I say. The market is opening in about 1 minute's time, in about 50 seconds time. So we're going to be covering the market open as well. We'll go over to Bloomberg as well. Let me see if I can get CNBC. Where is that? Let me get this link up. We're going to go over to the bell. Let's get ready to ring the bell. We're going to get ready to ring the bell. NVIDIA is popping up this morning as well because of the new deal with the United Arab Emirates. Here we go. Let's get ready to ring the bell.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Here we go, we've got market open now. Market is now open. Let's bring the volume down on that. Let's go through our positions. Let's see if Bloomberg is here. They are. Here we go.
Being run by Alliance Laundry Systems. There's a good, dependable company that does something you can understand, not services or solutions. They do your wash, which is great. They IPO, I think, today. Down at the NASDAQ, a company that does something you probably don't understand. It's a Solana treasury company. So you buy shares in this company, and they take that money plus the money they borrowed, and they buy Solana, which is a cryptocurrency that's not Bitcoin. So, like,
their ticker's also Ford, which is very confusing. F-O-R-D.
That is a little weird. By the way, did you see Luxembourg was the first country in Europe to buy Bitcoin through an ETF? Matt Siegel from Van Eck writes that they actually have purchased Bitcoin for like 1% of their budget.
Well, I guess Luxembourg has a lot of money and not a lot of people, so what else should you do with it besides buy Bitcoin?
But they didn't buy Solana.
Okay, let me come back to that because we had some underlying, my sound effect was still playing for some reason. Let me come back to that. We've got a new Solana company that's just been, let me turn that off. There we go. We have a new Solana company that's just IPO'd today that buys shares of Solana.
The CEO, Ed Bastian, says that Delta Fly financial position entering into 2020.
We'll come back to Bloomberg. The market's opening. Let's go through our positions. The S&P 500 is now speeding up towards the upside. We're going to get more all-time highs on the market. It looks like once again we are going into a euphoric stage in the market. It is getting out of control here in the markets. The S&P 500 is now up again for another day in the markets. The S&P 500 making new all-time highs once again in the market, waiting for some more speeches from Jerome Powell and the Fed. We've got S&P 500 all-time highs. Let's go through our positions. The silver, nearly short squeezing. Gold, all-time highs. Let's go through the stocks for today. Tilray Brands up 18.6%.
Nick Jones donated £1.99 through a super chat. This all seems bullish today. Celebratory hands in the air.
Another
emoji.
bullish day. We are entering the stage of the market, in my opinion, where everything will start pumping and lots of money will be made, in my opinion, anyway. Let's go through our positions. If you do have chart requests, you can do a $4.99 super chat, and you can do a chart request. If you want to become the number one top all-time super chatter right now, it's been Matthias for about a very long time, and he gets to stay up there as well. So thank you, Matthias, for your $150 super chat. Maybe we'll see if someone can beat that. Let's go through our positions. So Tilray up 15% today. Wrap Technologies up 2%. DXYZ is up 1.66%. The first magic number for the giveaway, add all three together and you get extra tickets, is one. Okay, the first magic number is 1,000. 1000, 1000. Take note of it, add it to the next ones I give you throughout the stream, and then you can put it into the giveaway page. The first magic number, I won't say it again. is 1,000. AMD is now down slightly on the day. Let's refresh this. We've got Nvidia. Nvidia is now pushing the markets back to all-time highs. It's up 1.5% today. Nvidia all-time highs again. Our target was $195, and it looks like we're going to hit that. Enphase Energy up 1.3%, Etsy up 2%, Tilray up 12%, Dollar Tree up. Let's zoom out a little bit on these stocks. Dollar Tree is up 1.1%. We've got GameStop up 1% today. Pfizer up 1% today. Snapchat flat on the day. We've got J&J up 0.5% today. It is this defensive play has really been moving up. Now all-time highs again for J&J. SoundHound AI flat on the day. Coca-Cola up 0.3%. Remember, one of Martyn's top picks, Coca-Cola. Disney is up 0.3%. Vivo Power, very interesting company. So you just heard about that company that's now listing on the stock exchange Forward, which just buys Solana. It's a Solana treasury company. This is somewhat similar. This is Vivo Power, but remember, they're buying XRP. And not only are they buying XRP because they want to add it to their treasury, they're buying it because they're using it within their systems to make their operations more efficient. So another cool top pick here, Vivo Power, again, very risky, but I like this company a lot. And the market cap is very small. AMC flat on the day. The dollar index is trying to double bottom now. The S&P 500 up today. Berkshire Hathaway flat on the day. Meta is now up 0.5%. Joby up 0.4%. Remember, Joby, Archer, Vertical Aerospace, new industry. Vaz is our expert on that. Keep an eye out for Vaz's Saturday newsletters and also his shows throughout the weeks, and his main show on a Saturday. He goes through the EVTOL market. SBCE is down slightly today. IBIT is down 0.26%. The BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. Apple down 0.5%. It looks like the market is going red now. Looks like the market is going red. Hood is down 1.17%. We might be hearing from Hood's CEO live from the community bank. That will potentially be starting in 10 minutes time. What is 9? Let me check what that is in UK time. 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, that will be in 10 minutes time. So let me go back and put a new time on the screen. 10 minutes. We've got Fed event. That's starting again in 10 minutes time. So let me put that on the screen.
Jose de Santos donated $1.99 through a super chat. Can you chart past chain and hex on ETH?
Jose, the minimum is $4.99 for chart requests, and that's for one chart request. But thank you for the super chat. So what else do we have? We've got Vertical Aerospace and down slightly today. Luna down slightly today. Archer down 1.5%. Let's go to our other positions, our indicators over here. Silver up 3%. Remember, that's a big deal. Silver going up 3% a day is a big deal. It did go much. It went actually up 5%, but now it's pulling back slightly. Gold is pulling back slightly. It's up 0.1% today. The markets are slowly coming down, actually. What's the S&P 500 doing? The market's open bullish, but they're slightly coming down now. I think the S&P 500 might be turning red. It's the S&P 500 is just about to turn red. It's just turned red. The S&P 500 just turned red. Let's go to the crypto market. The only crypto up is Sologenic, a crypto that lots of XRP holders like, but that's been on a terrible downtrend recently. We've got Bitcoin now down on the day, but still recovering from the losses earlier in the day, down 0.05%. Well, let's analyze the whole market, and then we'll go through the macro analysis. XRP down 1.78%, and then we've got Songbird down 5%, Filecoin down 4%, Polkadot down 3.5%, Flare down 3.5%. So the market has definitely turned red. We've got Fed speaking again in about 8 minutes time. In the meantime, let me tell you some of the top stories over the last couple of days. Remember, this is our very own newsletter page. You get it in your email. You can look at it on the web. You can look at it on the app. You can customize your notifications. So this is what it is. It's called Sensei's Insights. Every single morning, remember, I'm Sensei. I'm here on Martyn's channel. Every single morning, I spend 3-4 hours with my wife to put together these newsletters for you. We go through every news source. I'm subscribed to all different news outlets to get the best information without the ads, without the fluff, without taking up too much of your time, without the adverts. And we put together a newsletter so you can understand what's going in the markets every single day. For example, if you look at any of these newsletters, they come out every single day. And what you get is the top stories at a glance. So if you don't want to read a whole newsletter, or if you don't have time in the morning, you want to come back later, but you still want to know what's going on, you can literally read the top stories at a glance. You can talk about the OpenAI 1 trillion AI deal that stirs bubble fears, gold breaking levels. So that's the beginning of the newsletter. Then you get the one big thing, something you need to know about, and the money move of the day. You get the market snapshot, so you can see exactly the main commodities, currencies, and equities, what's going on with them. You need the 5 things you need to know every single day, and then you can read through these stories every single day with all the sources and everything you need. Then you can, obviously, you can connect with us. Then you can see the top story, whether it's a crypto story, whether it's a crypto review, whether it's a macro story, whether it's a stock review, whether it's a commodity review. This one was about the gold rush, why $4,000 is just the beginning. Then you can read all about that for more details so you can enhance your knowledge. You've also got the financial calendar, so you can go and refer to this any time of the day to see what's going on in the markets, the top things going on, the Fed speeches, the data releases, when Jerome Powell speaking, all of that sort of things, all of those sorts of things. And then you get the chart of the day. So you get the chart. You can see what the levels are, where I think gold's going, why I think it's going there. You also get that every single day. You get a Saturday newsletter from Vaz about EVTOLs. You get the community access. You can message me directly there anytime. You can talk to the community. You get all of that for about 30 cents a day, and half of it you can get for free as well. So I'm going to give you the link to that. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter yet, it is the first link in the description. It is also what I'm posting right now in the live chat. It takes 1 second. Go and subscribe to it. If you do subscribe to the free plan or the premium plan, those are also entries into the giveaway. Just make sure you claim them on the giveaway page. We're coming back to the Fed event in about 5 minutes time. Let me tell you my thoughts on the broader market. It's a very strange time in the markets. The one chart I want to keep referring back to is the S&P 500 over the money supply. So this is taking into account all the money that's been printed in the last all the money that's been printed ever, really. That's the money supply. And what you can see here is the highest, we are approaching the highest levels ever since the dot-com era. The markets are severely overbought. The S&P 500 valuations are at one of the highest it's ever been. You've got AI, crypto taking over the markets, creating a bubble. We've got crypto coming up to the end of its cycle. Bitcoin is pumping to its last level, I think 150,000, and that money's going to flow into altcoins. We are entering bubble phase, euphoria phase. And remember, after euphoria comes massive crashes, in my opinion. I still think it's worth being in. Again, my own thoughts, not advice, because I think the markets still have a lot higher to go. And again, if you're looking long term, it doesn't matter whether it crashes or not. But for me, as a swing trader and someone that keeps up with the markets, I do want to sell closer top and buy closer bottom. So I am going to start looking to sell once euphoria hits the highest levels ever, which I think it will. I think it will go to these peaks of the dot-com era, and that's when the S&P will get too overvalued. That money will then flow into lower cap stocks, the Russell 2000, and also the altcoin market. You can see this is when we broke out of levels as high as 2008, and then we went on another bull market. We came and tested those levels. So this chart is very important. We're going to be keeping an eye on it, navigating the markets together every single day. That's why we're live every single day as well. We interact with the audience. We build a great community. So I do think the markets are becoming overinflated. That doesn't mean there's no more gains left. I think we will still have a final pump, and all of this euphoria, I think, will enter the markets this month and next month, especially with all the crypto ETFs coming out, with all the great legislation for crypto, and again, with all the AI boom and deals NVIDIA's doing. AMD just did a deal with OpenAI. OpenAI is now the most valuable private company to exist. So the AI is pushing this, crypto is pushing us to the dot-com valuations, but just like the dot-com era, it was great technology, but it was a bubble. And it looks like we might be approaching the end of the bubble again, where you can make a lot of gains, but you need to be careful. And that's why we're going to be live every single day and navigating this together. So make sure you are subscribed. So the Fed is going to continue speaking shortly. We'll come on to that. My personal opinion is I'm going to keep an eye on this chart. If it continues to go up to those levels, we'll start consider selling, but not as soon as the S&P hits these levels, because probably the S&P will hit these levels, and then the S&P could start selling off, but that could start moving into the Russell, and then the Russell starts moving up to new highs. That could start moving into the crypto altcoins, and then that could move up. I think all of this will come to an end by January of 2026. It could be earlier than that. It could be maybe 1 month later than that. But I think in 2026, we'll get a major crash in the market. I think we'll get one initial move down because of the overvaluation. Then everyone will FOMO back in, thinking we're going to new all-time highs. And then a recession will come because either inflation has got out of control or the unemployment goes up. And then at some point in 2026, we'll enter quite a big recession, where then I'll use that money, if things go perfectly and I sell in the bull market, to then buy the recession bottom. So there you go. That's my analysis. And remember, I have been charting stocks for literally 10 years. We look at stocks every single day on the channel. We haven't had time to look at individual stocks today, but if you want to learn about our free training course, when I go through and talk to you about how to do technical chart analysis, I'll give you the link to Discord as well. That's where you can get the training course. So here is the link to Discord. If you click on that link and you want to join our Discord, there is I think it's $2 or $2.99, something like that. Don't click join server, come down and then press purchase. When you purchase it, you get access to all the channels. Remember, we added the training course for free, so it's an additional perk for all members. So you do have to go down and do the $2.99, and then you are part of our Discord as well. So do make sure you check that out as well. Okay, cool. Let me get ready for the Fed event that's starting up shortly. I'm going to try and answer some of your questions as well in a second. Let me just make sure the Fed is... Here we go. We've got CEOs of Paxos. Oh, here we go. This is a... let me just go back 10 seconds. They're back. Here we go. This is a stable coin, I believe.
All right. Good morning. I know there's going to be an exciting panel coming up next. Jim just gave us a pep talk. So you're all going to have a lot of fun. I thought I'd give a little bit of introduction on myself. My name is Charles Cascarilla. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Paxos, which is a blockchain infrastructure company. We issue stablecoins, and we also provide infrastructure for generally large institutions, but also small ones. And I do have one or two similarities to the prior speaker in that I spent my career as an analyst covering financial institutions, and I can say I read some call reports in my day, and they are definitely illuminating, though not always entertaining. Best when they're not entertaining, actually. And I've been able to look at small institutions and large institutions, and I think this is going to be a really interesting talk around how community banks are both important to the economy, but also how innovation can enable them to actually have an even more important place as we move forward. Maybe, Jeff, you could give a little bit of your background.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor to be here with everybody. We are, I think, planning on having some Q&A at the end as well, so looking forward to that. I'm Jeff Sennett. I'm the president and CEO of Vantage Bank. First, let me say that I'm very passionate about technology. I'm very passionate about community banks, and that sometimes leads to me talking very quickly. So if somebody can just give me the slow down signal if I start to do that, I'd appreciate that. So I'm, as I mentioned, I'm the CEO of Vantage Bank. I did not come through the traditional community bank CEO channels. I started my career as a software engineer, working on the model banking program for Nations Bank. And that was the program where Nations Bank had acquired all these banks. They were bringing it together under one platform. And I worked on the platform systems. And I worked on something that was called home banking at the time. So I'd carry around a box of about 500 floppies. And if I got it out of order, I had to start over. Technology.
S&P coming down now.
From there, I went to Barnett Bank, and when Barnett Bank, which was an incredible bank out of Florida, was sold to Nations Bank, I took that opportunity to go with some friends to start a software company. And during that time, I struck a relationship with the community bank, a community banker in Fort Worth, Summit Bank, Phil Norwood. And as we were growing that software company, I saw how important a community bank was to small businesses. Ultimately, that software company sold, and when that happened, Phil Norwood reached out to me and said, where are you going next? And I said, I think I might go to Bank of America. And he said, no. Come to community banks, and you can see how you can put together the technology you've been working on at a small software company.
Jose, I did respond to your super chats.
And really make an impact, just as we did, but we can turbocharge that with technology. And so I took him up on that. I became his CIO. That bank ultimately sold to Frost, and I've been in the community bank space ever since. I'm a huge believer in what technology and community bank can do, not only for the community bank itself, but for the customers, the prospects, the communities of community banks. Vantage Bank, the current iteration of Vantage is about 6 years old. We brought together a few banks and really set forward a path to set this bridge between traditional community banking and what we feel is modern community banking. We put that path in motion intentionally. And one of the first things we did was a risk assessment in terms of what are we going to face in the future. Vantage Bank is designed to be a multi-generational bank. We're 100% family and employee owned, and we really want to take a long game approach. And part of that risk assessment was around AI, was around stablecoin, tokenization, tokenized deposits. And so we set a path. We're a very decentralized bank as design. All of our employees are spread across the state. We have a digital backbone that connects us all. We spent a tremendous amount of time on data modeling and a tremendous amount of time preparing for this transformation that's occurring right now.
Thanks, Jeff, and obviously a very innovative approach to banking that you've taken over your career. Maybe you could spend a little bit of time talking about how community banks can offer their customers different types of products or different services than big banks, and how you feel like you're able to be competitive against them.
So community banks, all of us pride ourselves on really understanding what our customers are asking for. How do we structure solutions, products, and services in order to make an impact for them? We can be ultra responsive, and part of that responsiveness is data. But another part of that is really taking control of that innovation. We just heard in the last panel your opinion on the big three. That's something that I think what we're going to talk a lot about today untethers us from. So for us at Vantage, we spent a lot of time putting a layer on top of our core provider in order to take more control of that, in order to provide differentiated services and products. That's worked out very well for Vantage. We were $1.6 billion 6 years ago. We're knocking on the door of $5 billion now. And so when you put together that accountability that you build with your customers, your thoughtfulness in terms of what your customers are trying to accomplish with ultra-responsive products and services that help them be competitive, community banks are a natural place where they're going to turn.
Yeah, it's a very impressive deposit growth, 25 or 30% probably annualized, trying to do the math quickly in my head, which is, obviously significantly faster than what the market's growing. And what do you think is primarily driving that growth? When you think about, is it the technology that you're being able to offer, the different ways in which you can differentiate yourself from banks where there might be a more homogeneous offering when they're large and they're big?
So our largest deposit growth year was the 9 months after Silicon Valley Bank failed. Our deposits grew over 33% that year. But I think that what that signal is it's a signal of when there's times of uncertainty, people turn to who they trust, who's committed to them. Our growth really started to explode right after
market's crashing now.
And PPP. We actually had rolled out a program ahead of the PPP program, and we modified a third of our customers' loans in 5 days using technology. What that turned into, though, was this sense of trust. and they became our biggest net promoters. They became evangelists of Vantage Bank and community banks. And we're facing that again. We're facing a time of uncertainty. This time it's not a pandemic. This time it's not a bank failure.
Nvidia going against the grain just hit our target.
And uncertainty around technology with tokenization, stablecoins, tokenized deposits. And again, I think community banks are where your customers and prospects on Main Street are going to turn because we have that trust. They know that commitment. And so it's an opportunity to leverage that and to provide solutions to them in a way that we've never been able to do before. And I'll talk more about that in just a bit.
You know, obviously things have changed in terms of the administration's willingness to enable stablecoins and blockchain technology into the financial services industry. And obviously the Genius Act has also been a very important piece of legislation that is enabling stablecoins with legal certainty in a way that hasn't existed before. And certainly that's been something that you have experimented with. And I think when we were talking ahead of this conversation, I was really surprised and interested to hear in the ways that you're using both blockchain and stablecoins to change the products and services, the way in which your bank can offer your customers a new experience, and also how it can even change the cost curve. So both in a way of changing your revenues, but changing your expenses. And I think that would be really helpful for everyone to hear about.
Absolutely. And I know I have probably some of my regulators in this room, so this is all meant with absolute respect.
Very interesting caveat.
So Vantage, we have been methodically moving down this path, like I mentioned, for 6 years. And we've been pushing on the fences with some regulators during that time. And so
I've just started a poll. Let me know what you want me to do. I want to do what the audience wants. Do you want me to continue with this specific panel, or should we do quick fire chart analysis? So you guys can give ticker symbols and I can go through the charts and keep an eye on the markets. Do you want to continue with this panel or quick fire chart analysis? The poll is running. We'll give it a couple minutes and then we'll end it. Let me start this.
So when Vantage originates loans, we have a proprietary loan origination system that we built. We actually then originate them on our core system, and we send them to the blockchain. And that's positioning for a day of tokenization around those assets so that we can have a much more effective way to manage our balance sheet. It provides us accessibility into the biggest asset managers of the world, but also provides us a very easy way to sell and manage loans and participate and syndicate between banks. We can also sell any part of that asset to any of you or one of our customers. That's the power of tokenization. So that's another example of Vantage positioning for this. In terms of stablecoin and tokenized deposits, Vantage started down this road really 2 years ago. We went to our regulators and we presented to them what we wanted to accomplish along this front. That was supposed to be a fairly short meeting. The very first question I got, and they may be in this room, was, why are you doing this? And you're a healthy, safe bank. And the answer was, we're not doing this to take on risk. We're doing this to manage risk. We know this is going to be an important part of the banking system in the future. It's going to be an important part of community banks. And it doesn't have to be Vantage. You pick any
vote in the poll. I'll end it shortly. Continue with this specific panel. We can come back to the next one.
And that meeting turned into
Obviously,
a full day,
let me just pause this.
Follow-up meetings, and eventually,
if Jerome Powell comes on, or if another Fed official comes on, we'll come back to it. But in the meantime, do you want to continue with this, or do you want chart requests? I'll end the poll in about a minute.
With us, you present your risk assessments of what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll work with you. And we've been meeting with our regulators every other week now for almost 2 years. And through that, we've been pushing forward on some proof of concepts with tokenized deposits and stablecoins. The first one we did was earlier this year. Vantage Bank, working with our partner Custodia, did the very first tokenized deposit U.S. bank release on a public blockchain. We since have pushed that proof of concept forward. And this gets to that differentiation where one of our customers is a trucking company. And we asked that trucking company, what's one of your biggest challenges? And this is where this technology should resonate with every community banker. because for the first
Donda
time,
Donda donated
we have
$5
an
through a super
unbelievable
chat.
opportunity
Could you take
to
a look at Orly
actually
stock
help
if we
our
do charts?
customers in a way we've never had before compete and win in their most crucial workflows or some of the most strategic challenges.
Okay, the people have spoken. The chat has spoken. What we're going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on that in case things change. But we're doing quick fire chart analysis. So that's because you guys have voted for that. So essentially, how do chart requests work? It's never financial advice. It's my thoughts and opinions only. I'm basing it off my experience with chart analysis. I'm not telling you what to do. The chart request is $4.99. If you want to make sure your chart analysis goes through, make sure you do the super chat as soon as possible, because we might move back to the Fed. So Donda knows the rap. She's gone or he's gone straight for the first analysis. So you can do a chart request. If it is a crypto, just let me know it's a crypto. If it's a stock, let me know it's a stock. Just give me the ticker. Give me the if it's a stock, it's a crypto. Look, just like this, Orly stock. So I know it's a stock and it's not a crypto. If you have a specific question within that stock, you can put it in the super chat. If you want to know take profit levels or where to buy in, stuff like that, you can put it in the super chat. But remember, it's not financial advice. So you can start doing super chats, and I'll be doing chart requests on the super chats. So we'll start with Donda with ORLY. We'll go through lots of chart requests, so it's definitely worth sticking around because you get to also see all these charts while we do it, even if you're not requesting one. So Orly stock. So we're looking at O'Reilly Automotive stock first. So here we go. What is this stock? This stock is owns and operates retail outlets in the United States. It engages in the distribution and retailing of automotive aftermarket parts, tools, and supplies. The market cap is, and remember, it's not 85 billion. So it's a well-established company, this one. First of all, what I like to do is zoom out and see where we are at and look what the structure of the stock looks like. And this is a perfect structure of a stock. This is just from first look, it looks perfect. Higher highs, higher lows, parabolic. It's continuing to do that. It's continuing to grow. You can't fault it. It's not going down the toilet every single day. It's not a high risk stock, really. So essentially, there's not too much to say about this. If you're looking at the stock, I think it's a great stock. There's nothing suggesting. Yeah, I'll tell you the second magic number. Okay, if you want the second magic number, let me know in the chat, and we'll do the second magic number as well. So ORLY is continuing to move up. I mean, this is sort of a buy and hold in my book, but if I'm going to buy this stock, I'll personally wait for. My strategy is to wait for good stocks to be very undervalued. And from a chart perspective, I would like to see the stock potentially at $95 before I start laddering in. So that's the first level of support I see on this stock, about $35. If I do a Fibonacci here, let's hit his first target. Yeah, the next target would be around $113 on this stock. And then I would also wait to 122 to take any profits from the stock. But yes, I would be interested in buying this at the bottom of this trend line towards the upside and the Fibonacci level. So I'll be looking at around and the horizontal level of support around $95. So Orly is looking good long
Alex
term.
donated $4.99 through a super chat. React USD crypto.
Yes, React USD crypto. Alex will have a look at React USD crypto. Yes, so that's the first chart request. I'll be buying around $96. I'll be selling potentially $114 right now, middle of no man's land. If you're buying and holding long term, the stock does suggest that it just does want to continue to go higher and higher and higher. So it's looking good. Okay, and it's probably because secondhand car prices are just continue to go up as well. Thank you for that chart request. The next one is React USD. So if you do want a chart request, you can do a $5 super chat and tell me what if it's a stock, if it's a crypto, and if you have any specific questions. We're coming on to React crypto. The second magic number is, everyone's asking about the second. Oh wow, what's going on here? Don't know why that's happened. Let me refresh that and go into live chat. Okay, the second magic number is remember, add up all three and put it into the competition page and win $2,000. The second magic number is, and I'm only going to say it's in this period, 2000. 2000. The second magic number is 2000. So you've got the first one, you've now got the second one. When the third one comes out, add them all together and put it into the competition page to win $2,000. The link is the pinned comment. Alts are useless day in and day out. Well, you can do it in altcoin requests as well. You can request XRP, Solana, Bitcoin, any chart you want. You can request gold, silver. You can do any chart request for $4.99, and I will do them live on the show while we are waiting for the next panelist as well, because you guys chose you'd rather charts than that. Okay, so React Network. This is a chart request from Alex. Alex, thank you very much for your super chat. Again, I don't know much about this token at all. This is a very small altcoin. It's $46 million market cap. I wouldn't be putting a lot of my portfolio in this at all. This is a token that probably will go to zero at some point in the future just because of its market cap, just because of the statistics out there. However, for this bull run, it does look quite good because it's having higher lows and higher highs. So that's always good.
Ole Gunderson donated 50 Norwegian kroner through a super chat. Soundhound chart, please.
Yep, we'll have a look at Soundhound. Thank you very much, Ole. We'll look at Soundhound straight after this. So Reactive Network is showing strength, high lows, high highs. That's always good to see. You've got all-time highs to target. That's always a nice way to see where one of your take profit levels would be. If the bull market continues as I expect, I'll be expecting to go to 19 cents. Oh, actually a little bit higher, actually about 20 cents, then 26 cents. My main target would be about 41 cents. I'll keep that, have a limit order set up there. I might hold for a bit more longer because it's a very small market cap.
Chris Fulton donated $5 through a super chat. QBST stock, please.
Thank you, Chris Fulton, for the stock request. Yes, if you do want to get your stock request in, I'd suggest doing it as soon as possible because we won't be able to do unlimited amounts today. But any that come in now, we will definitely do. So I'll tell you when no more. So Reactive Network is I'll be targeting 41 cents. It's also a very small market cap token, so I would possibly be holding for $1 as well. The structure's looking fine. You've got higher highs, higher lows. You've got the targets. I wouldn't be putting a large amount of my portfolio into it at all. But I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that helps. It's always harder to do chart requests on a very small market cap token. Soundhound. Ole has asked for Soundhound AI. Always keeping an eye on the Fed. They're still the same panelists.
Companies such as
No, we're waiting for Jerome Powell, waiting for Fed officials to come back to that. React solves problem about all crypto data needs. Thank you, Vinman. So, Soundhound AI. This has been one that we've been spot on about with our chart analysis. Remember, we looked at this a very long time ago. We did the earnings for this a very long time ago. We looked at the parallel channel of accumulation. Remember, it IPO'd, then it crashed. It accumulated between $1 and $4. And then we said once it breaks out of these high ranges around $4 to $5, we saw that breakout to the upside. I said it will come back down to $4. It did. And we said that's the perfect level to be buying Soundhound AI. And we bought it at those levels. And ever since it did pump towards the upside. I would just pause this analysis for 1 second because we've got a special guest calling into the show. So let me bring in Martyn. Welcome into the show.
Good morning from my virtual holiday of my home in Cornwall. I can't be there, of course, because I'm building the studio. Guys, I wanted to warn everybody and also give you a special event right now. First of all, everything I've heard this morning and everything I'm hearing from Bank of America confirms that we are going to get a crash. That's only my opinion. Don't follow me. That's why I'm all out of stocks. I'm 100% in T-bills, earning about $34 a day with my 270 grand that I've got invested. 100% risk-free, unless the government default, of course. Safest way. I can access the money and I'll be buying the S&P when it dips. I'm very confident of that. If I wasn't, I would be in the S&P right now. That's what I'm doing. Now, today's been one of the biggest streams ever. It's been the third largest stream ever on our show. So congratulations, Sensei. You're doing a fantastic show. If you carry on like this, you're probably going to get the biggest stream ever, which was 130,000 views. We're just approaching 60,000 now, so you're halfway there. What I'd like to do today to commemorate this special event, we are giving away $2,000. If we get 2,000 likes, Sensei will explain how you can get it to $3,000. So stick around for that. Just like and then ask in the chat, and Sensei will explain how we can increase the giveaway to $3,000. Live on the website right now, martynlucas.com/giveaway. We've given you 3 more chances to win tickets. There are magic numbers in this event. Sensei can show you that. And then there are 2 reposts. Sensei has a repost. I have a repost promoting this event. Remember, we don't make any money out of these giveaways. We don't earn any money on X. We're just trying to share the love. When we make money, we give it away. It's why our training program on Discord with Sensei's fantastic video training course is free. We don't sell training courses. We don't need to because we make money investing. So we like to give it back to you. All right? So what we're going to do now, we're going to celebrate. Sensei is doing some amazing chart analysis. But for the next 5 minutes and 5 minutes alone, anyone who becomes a member in the chat, up to 10, because Sensei's got to go off and do something else, I'm sure, today, you get a free mini chart analysis. I mean, a really quick chart analysis. So Sensei will bring up the chart, show you the buy zone, sell zone, support levels. Up to 10 people, the first 10 who become a member, first come, first serve, a nice quick video for you where he will show you the buy zone, sell zone, support levels on your favorite stock. Then you have some really great information. Remember, this is not financial advice, but this is what we are doing with our real money. When I told you about me selling my positions, that's my real cash, my real money. So if you'd like that, it's the first 10 people that become a member, and you get extra benefits. Anyone who becomes a member, it's only $2.99. I will reply to every single comment on YouTube with a personal reply. You get many perks. All our CEO interviews are members only. A couple of days ago, we had the CEO of HOVR on the stock. We told you it would pump, and it did. Our members have made a small fortune on that stock. That's a members only perk. All our main events are members only. Our CEO events are all members only. There are many other perks, plus I engage with you on social media. Our giveaways are all free, just so you know. You don't have to be a member for the giveaway. But the next 10 people that become a member on this show, Sensei will do you a very quick chart analysis completely for free, and then you get all the other perks and benefits to go along with it. It's a great day, but guys, do not chase the market. It came down on those announcements. I'm waiting, I'm holding. It's a game of patience. It's been an amazing record-breaking year. It doesn't pump forever. Don't wait for it to start to dive. Be ready. I'm not telling you what to do, but I've got 270 grand in treasury bills, and I'll be buying back the S&P at the right time. And it's not this time. Sensei, thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Martyn. So you heard it. The next 10 people that become members, it's only $2.99. You get a whole lot of perks as well. You get a free chart analysis as well. So we've given you your first magic number. We've given you your second magic number. Your third magic number will be coming up in the next half an hour. So do get ready for that. Stay with us to get your third magic number. We are waiting for any more communication from the Fed, but we've got some chart analysis to do in the meantime. Okay, so Soundhound, we were looking at where were we with Soundhound? Oh yeah, we broke $9, and then that had the massive surge after earnings. We covered this all live. We hit our take profit levels of $20, $25, and then it sold off. And then we got ready for our next move, which was this inverse head and shoulders with that final higher low at $8. We were very bullish at $8. Very, very bullish at $8. Go back and look at the videos. And now it's sat at $19. It's not as, when I look to the stock down here, I was ultra bullish on it. When I look at the stock here, I'm bullish on it, but I'm not ultra bullish on it. There's no amazing trading setup for it. It is showing higher highs, higher lows, so you do expect this move to take it to all-time highs. I would keep an eye on $18. If you break below $18, it might go to $14. So $18 is the level of support. Then if you hold $18, which it looks like you are going to, you are potentially then looking at $25 all-time highs, and then your main target $28. So it does look like Soundhound is on its way to its next target, which is all-time highs, $25, and then $29 as well. So thank you for that super chat, Ole. Now let's go on to Chris Fulton, who's asked for QBST. There is no ticker under QBST, unfortunately, Chris Fulton. QBST stock. Yeah, there's no stock under QBST, unfortunately. Chris Fulton, you might have misspelt that. Let me know again in the chat. The next 10 people who become members for $2.99 will also do a... Oh, D-Wave. Oh yeah, it is QBST. Oh, QBTS. Do you mean D-Wave Quantum? Because that's QBTS, not ST. Do you mean D-Wave Quantum? Let me know. I think you mean D-Wave Quantum. I think you've got it the wrong way around. QBTS. Do you mean QBTS, not ST? D-Wave Quantum. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay, yeah. Okay, I've got it. I've got it here. Don't worry. This is D-Wave Quantum. Here again. Thank you for your super chat. Tilray is now up 26% today. Wow. Oh my God. I've not looked at this stock in a while. The last time we looked at this stock was at breaking out of $11. Now it's sat at $35, a 3x. Absolutely incredible. Wow. Again, I can't give you any major analysis on the stock. It's at all-time highs. There is no formal resistance. Remember, you're at all-time highs. You're in price discovery. I can give you some levels of support and try my best, but look, the trade was down here at $11. The trade was down here at $7. The trade was the breakout of all-time highs at $20. We're at $35. There's not too much on the buy side of things now. I would more be looking at selling rather than buying. The final target potentially $43, but is it worth waiting for? There we go. That's $43 as the target. The levels of support are very much down here at $25 and also $32. Yeah, there is not much left in this, in my opinion. It could, of course, continue going higher, but technically speaking, through technical analysis, there's no formal support or resistance. There is a Fibonacci level at $44 as a take profit level. There is support at $32, $25. I would be interested in getting back into stock in a bear market. If we get that 2026 correction, I'll be interested in getting back into stock, start laddering at $21 and then back at $10. If we do get a recession in the bear market, these are the stocks I'll be looking at and buying them at lower levels if we do get it, but that's no guarantee. Right now, for me, this would be more of a laddering out position than a buying in position. The last target potentially is $44, but even now I would be laddering out if I bought at these levels. If I've recently bought in, I'll just be holding long term. But thank you for the chart request. Please give AMD chart analysis. Yeah, we'll do AMD.
Lamar Schmucker donated $5 through a super chat. Please give AMD stock any lease.
Yep, we'll do AMD now. Someone's just asked, I thought rate cuts were bullish for the market. Well, it depends in what sense. Right now, if we just get steady rate cuts, yes, of course, it's bullish for the market. But at some point, the market can also get overextended as well, which we're approaching now. Someone else, can you do Barber analysis? If you do a super chat, we can do it. Can you do TerraWolf? If you do a super chat, we can do it. Where is Powell?
Donated $4.99 through a super chat. ABR stock review, please.
We'll do ABR as well. Thank you, Seth Houston. Can you do, where is Powell? Powell was on earlier. We're expecting him to potentially come back later as well. We are keeping an eye on the stream. So AMD is had the deal with OpenAI, and that pushed it to all-time highs. I wouldn't personally chase it. However, I wouldn't be selling either. For me, AMD, I would be selling if I bought it at the level of support we looked at a few months ago at $98. Remember, we were tracking this downtrend and we were still bullish on AMD at around $95, and especially at the breakout $110. That's when we were bullish on AMD. A lot of these stocks have now hit most of our targets. If I bought it down there, I would consider selling up here. The issue you now have with AMD is in an event of a crash, which we are starting to expect. You've got a massive gap on AMD's price after that OpenAI announcement we covered in the newsletter, which is $171. So this could sell off in a crash scenario down to $170. On the flip side, if we do continue with the euphoria for another few weeks, another few months, AMD is now above its previous all-time highs. You can start expecting AMD to really start pumping towards the upside. So if I'm holding, if I bought very low and I want to get out my position, I'll be selling. But if I've bought more recently, or I think that the markets are going to continue to pump, I would actually hold, because I think AMD now, if it stays above all-time highs, it does have its main target of $320. And that is possible. I mean, a lot of people say, well, that's not possible. If we get that euphoric run, AMD is now above its previous all-time highs. It can certainly go to $320 as well. Just in the crash scenario, if I want to buy some more, I'll be buying $170. If it holds all-time highs, all I have to see it do is hold $225. If it holds $225, I'll be looking for $320. If it stays below $225, I'll be looking to target $180, $170. So keep an eye on that all-time high level of $125. Above it, bullish; below it, bearish. If I've been holding it for a long time and I want to take profits, I'll take profits at these levels. If I don't mind, if I think the bull market's going to continue, I would probably be holding as well. I would sell some. Personally, I bought it at $100 when we did the chart analysis. Right now, I'm selling a tiny bit. Once it hit all-time highs after that OpenAI announcement, I sold some, but I'm also holding for $320 because I think the market's going to have one final pump. If I start seeing it lose momentum and come below $225, I'll be selling more of my position to buy back lower. What was the next analysis request? Was AMD. Thank you, Lamar, for that. Seth Houston said ABR. ABR. Arbitrary real. I don't really like real estate stocks too much. They take too much money for themselves. Real estate investment trust. Yeah, this is probably one of the most famous ones, but oh no, it's not. It's arbitrary. I'm not, in general, in terms of investments, I'm not a fan of real estate companies because the liquidity is low. They take a lot of money from themselves, and real estate doesn't grow that much over time, really. It's sort of, if I was going to buy real estate, I'll buy gold. It's a hedge against inflation. If I'm going to buy real estate, hopefully one day you buy the physical real estate, the actual house. Otherwise, real estate, in terms of a stock purchase, to me personally, it's not the most useful way to spend the money. But let's do chart analysis on it anyway. You can just see how this stock has performed over the years as well. It crashed in 2008 and it's never recovered since, really. Never recovered since the 2008 crash. Never recovered since. If you've been holding the stock for all these years, you could have made so much money investing in technology, the S&P, the NASDAQ, crypto. You would have old school investing in real estate stocks would have yielded you absolutely nothing. You would still be down from 2008 onwards. So just a little lesson there. You can look, you are in a downtrend. You're trying to, there was support. You could trade this $10 to $11. Again, it's just a 10% gain, so it's nothing significant. Two things here. So I'll be looking at this triangle here. So you've got a level of support around $10. You've got this downward sloping resistance, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It's going to go between these two levels. Between the levels, these two levels, let me show you. It's going to go between these two levels, in my opinion. And then at some point, it's going to choose. Is it going to break out towards the upside? So that would mean, let me just clear this up a little bit. I'm just going to bring this trend line down, this trend line down, this one over here. I think it's going to trend between these two trend lines, and then it's going to make a decision. If it trends up, down, and then it breaks towards the upside, then yes, maybe your next target's $15, then $17, then $20. But I won't be acting on this trade prematurely. If it then continues to come down here and it breaks the downside, then that gives way to even a short position, and then you're looking at $3.50. So I'll be waiting to see in which direction this breaks to the upside or the downside. If it breaks the upside, then I expect $15, $17, then $20. If it breaks the downside, then I expect a crash down to $4, and then that could be an opportunity to buy. So right now, I wouldn't be touching it. The trend is towards the downside. I'll be waiting for a break of direction. ARB stock. Okay, we've gone through all the chart requests. If you want to become a member, we'll do more chart requests, or if you want to do a $5 super chat, we'll do more chart requests as well. What I'm going to be doing is going back to the stream and then getting ready for the last magic number, and also introducing you to Vaz, who will be going live next.
How do you make that happen?
Great question. So I mentioned Vantage Bank is working to provide this infrastructure to other community banks. And we're doing that in a way that would be accretive with very low volumes, because we know that we have to lower those barriers for community banks. And so we have a model. We can walk you through exactly what that looks like. We believe that this will compound quite a bit over time. So we're willing to provide that model for community banks to grow over the next 5-7 years amongst that. Our model assumes that a $500 million bank with just 10% of their transactions that are on wires today go through in a year, it'll be accretive for you. So, and so we'll be happy to walk through that on a call. But we know that those barriers need to be low in order to get adoption and for community banks to work directly together. And we don't want to miss that opportunity.
Great. Right here. Sorry, right here. Thank you.
Hi, Congressman Foster. I'm the lead Dem on the Financial Institutions Committee in the House. One of the big challenges that everyone faces here is identity fraud and KYC and that whole nexus of things. And other countries are moving very rapidly towards having the ability to prove you are who you say you are in an online transaction by basically getting out their cell phone, doing the biometric login, and presenting what would be in the U.S. a real ID digital driver's license. And I think now the EU is going to have that by the end of the year. England just announced they're going to have it. It's been in place in Asia for a long time. And so this really avoids all kinds of things and potentially lowers the compliance cost for this. I was wondering where you see, is that something
Chris
we should
Fulton
really make a
donated
push?
$5 through a super
The
chat.
Biden administration,
Lift
of course,
stop,
promised initially that they were going to make progress, and they didn't do anything. Do you have any thoughts on that and how that could really make life easier for just automated KYC?
Well, look, I think one of the exciting things about being on chain is that it's transparent. So you're able to see how things are moving, and you can use a variety of on-chain analytical tools to be able to monitor transactions, to be able to freeze transactions, to seize transactions, and to build compliance tools that operate in an automated way that can actually lower your costs on a per transaction basis, as Jeff was describing. And there's different ways to be able to do that, including adding identity in as, say, an attachment to a transaction as it moves. There's different industry standards around being a VASP, virtual asset service provider, that require you to be able to understand where funds came from and where they're going to. And so I think there are a lot of these in place. They're not maybe quite as prescriptive as in other jurisdictions, but it's something that we expect and very much have like the frameworks for that, but they are evolving.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. So I mentioned earlier that we feel like tokenized deposits can get out the door.
Stay with us to talk about tokenization here. We're going to come back for some more chart reviews. We're going to wait for Jerome Powell to see if he comes back as well, and more analysis with EVTOLs and the Delta earnings are all coming up. Stay with us. And more chances to win $2,000.
Stablecoin, you're moving more into some non-bank areas and non-bank customers. There absolutely would like to see the U.S. move that direction. At Vantage Bank, we're using technology similar to that, like with Intersect, in order to do those kind of things. Again, we have about 1/3 of our transactions internationally. So we would like the U.S. to have a standard component on that. Again, as mentioned, the blockchain allows us to do that in a way much more effective, much more efficient than we've ever had the opportunity to do before.
Question in the back.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Carlos Garcia from Nave Bank in Puerto Rico. One question for you. What are your thoughts in terms of using FedNow as a payment rail for small businesses?
So we were a FedNow beta bank. We've had some challenges with adoption there. Again, I mean this with all respect, but our feeling is tokenized deposits is a better solution. It's 24/7. You're really just transferring the liability between two banks on the behalf of a customer. And so, our energy and efforts are really focused on the tokenized deposit side for us. We do offer FedNow. We just haven't been able to get much adoption there. Again, we feel like tokenized deposits will be a more effective rail, and then you can add the programmability to that, and that's what will start to compound over time.
Great. I think we might have time for one more question. Great.
Hi, Jeff, you mentioned rewards on stablecoin, and whether that's between providers and even rewards that would ultimately go to customers. And you also mentioned as a community bank CEO, the concern about deposit flight, maybe deposits leaking from community banks to the large banks. And I have the same concern about that. But when does a reward become interest, and which obviously is barred by this Genius Act? And how do you navigate that, between just deposit flight for community banks and rewards, interest, that whole spectrum?
Yeah, there needs to be much more work around rewards when it comes to stablecoins. Again, tokenized deposits can pay interest just as a deposit. And I think there's a variety of ways to address it. The way that I was speaking towards was, there being a consortium of participants, FIs, within the stablecoin participants, and their ability to get a reward that could be passed on to their direct customers is one way to address that. I think that is an important way that protects banks and also allows customers to participate in a reward program. You're effectively paying interest from that bank because the interest is first being paid to that institution. That's personally the way I would like to see the oversight go, but there still needs to be a lot of work there. Other ways of doing it, of course, is just more on the loyalty point side. Things can get a bit
Market's
blurry
coming down now fast.
in terms of, is that really an interest payment versus a reward? I think that's an area there's going to have to be a lot of focus and oversight. Again, where I lean always is go back through the financial institutions and allow them to participate with the stablecoin providers and do that in a way that's based off of the volumes. And again, I feel like community banks can protect those volumes because of the relationships we have with those customers and the impact we can make working with those customers within their core workflows of their business themselves.
All right. I know there's no doubt an endless number of questions, and we could spend all day talking about this. It's so fascinating. But our time is up. And so, Jeff, it was really great to spend some time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks to the audience. Yeah.
I think there's one more after this, maybe a Fed speech. It's resuming at 10:45 Eastern time. So what would that be? That would be in 15 minutes time, I think. 10:45 Eastern time is in 15 minutes time. Okay, so that'll resume shortly. Let's go back here and do some more chart requests. What was that? Did you just see that as well? I've got this ladybug infestation in my camera. Did anyone just see that? Oh my god, it's happened again. It's very strange. It's always this time of year where I live. They want to find some warmth for the winter, and they always come into the studio. Anyway, the S&P 500 is really now coming down flipping from being green today to now down 0.4%. People are selling off their stocks as we speak. What's the Bitcoin market doing? We've got Bitcoin now down 1.5% now. From the highs, it has crashed down 1.5%. And we've also got Filecoin down 5% as well. We've got the crypto market coming down, especially Bitcoin and the broader market. What I'm going to do is put a timer on the screen because I need to use the bathroom. So let me put a time on the screen. Probably don't need that long, but I will just put that on. Let me just put that there. I'll be back, and we're going to be going on to the next Fed review. Maybe it'll be Jerome Powell. We'll do some more chart requests as well. We'll analyze the crash. Let me go over to S&P 500 as well. I'll literally be back very, very shortly. Then we've got Delta earnings as well, so stay with us. I'm going to put this on the screen, and what I will do is we'll go back to over here where we missed some of the speech, and we'll go live.
Doing it at lower overhead, doing it at less cost.
I'll literally be back in 2 minutes.
Less risk, and bringing these things together in an efficient way that open up markets that were never open before.
Yeah, I mean, real world assets are still quite a small percentage of on-chain assets. It's basically a rounding error. Most of it's either crypto assets or it's tokenized dollars, actually. And then after that, you're kind of still in very early stages. But as you get more and more dollars, I can really imagine you're going to end up in a place where having that settlement capacity can then create the operational benefits for other assets to come on. Certainly that's been our thesis over time. One of the important elements that was in the Genius Act and also has created some consternation is the capacity for yield to be passed on to distributors in the stablecoin bill, and that was part of the Genius Act. And I know there's been some concern of, well, is that going to actually end up creating competition for banks? Because right now they have a specialized position in how they're able to offer interest on deposits. What type of difficulties might that create because there's other ways to get yield? Or how much is that actually similar to, for instance, money market funds? There's $8 trillion of them. How do you look at the rewards-based distribution that Genius enables?
Great question. There's, I think, a few different ways that this can be addressed, and we're not sure exactly what direction this will go at the moment. But there's a few things with that question. I think it's important to protect the moats of banking. So when we talk about a tokenized deposit, that's within the banking ecosystem. So interest can be paid. FDIC insurance is in play. It can be used as collateral. We can lend on it. And then you move more into the stablecoin side, and I do think that rewards are going to play a role on the stablecoin side. And there could be different participants in that. There could be rewards. Let me back up for a second. I think the main concern about where stablecoins are and rewards is because the stablecoin issuer is deciding where those funds, those deposit funds go. And so that concerns a lot of us in the community banking industry, is if they're going to select just the largest banks, is that going to...
Right on time. Look at that.
So I think, one way to address this is to provide ways to do rewards to FIs and have some fair participation amongst the network of banks that are participating around this. But there'll also be rewards directly to customers themselves. I think those will take more of the play of loyalty points or those type of rewards. There's a lot of different ways to address this. But ultimately, we feel like as a financial institution, where we expect to be carrying a certain part of our balance sheet in stablecoins, there should be a yield back to that, even if we weren't the issuer, but we're participating in that network.
That makes sense. Now, I know we're getting close to time, and we wanted to make sure that this could be a little interactive. So we're going to open it up here and see if there's any questions for Jeff, or even myself, I guess. Happy to answer them and see if we can maybe answer 2 or 3 from the audience. Anybody interested? Any takers? Jackie.
Okay, this is back to the Q&A, which we've listened to, so let me just pause that there. There will be coming live again. Vaz will be going live and covering some of this event as well. So I've just got a question in the chat. Just let me know where you guys are from. US, UK, Europe, Asia. Let me know. Sorry, I couldn't really be more specific, but I just want to know roughly where everyone's from. Obviously, Asia is going to be a big continent with a lot to cover. That includes Australia and China and the Middle East. I've left out Africa, so maybe Asia can include Africa for this, but I can't put any more. Just let me know; it'll be interesting to know. Let me go back to the markets because the markets are coming down. Again, they are probably just overvalued. I don't think this is the official beginning of the crash. I think the crash will come later on. Again, the crash could come earlier if the US shutdown continues for more than a month. But if it doesn't, if the US shutdown ends next week, then we get the crypto ETFs the week after. Then we can go on another face ripping rally, euphoric rally, where the tokens, like we've been starting to see it today, something like Tilray going up 20%. We'll see more of that sort of stuff happening, and we might see silver short squeezing. We'll see a lot of crazy things happen in the market. And then once that happens, we can see the bigger crash come. So this could be the beginning of it. I don't think this is the beginning of the broader crash. I think that will come in the next few months, potentially December, January, February. I think we still are in store for another face ripping rally in the markets. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. Anyway, so let me go into some of, I think I missed a chart request from someone. What was the last chart request? Orly, we did AMD. I think we'd had another one. Did we miss a chart request? If you want to do a chart request, you can do a $5 super chat. I think we missed one. Put your flags in the chat. Yes, wherever you're from, put your flag is in the chat. Let me know. Lyft stock. That's the one we missed. Lyft is Chris Fulton asked for Lyft stock. LYFT. Okay, so Lyft stock is down today, but let's zoom out of Lyft and see our chart analysis on Lyft. Let's really zoom out. I think this is down from its all-time highs of IPO. Yeah, it is. So Lyft is not looking awful, to be honest. It's another one of those stocks that IPO'd and then has since really crashed. So I wouldn't really be focusing on the IPO price for something like Lyft. I'll be focusing more on some Fibonacci retracement. So we take that from the all-time high to the low. It does look like you've formed a nice base at $8. My targets very much would be, first target's $27. Next target would be, and I'll just be selling at each of these levels, $40. The target after that would be about $50. I wouldn't really look at any higher targets, but if you were quite bullish on it, then it's $58 if you want to hold some, be a bit more high risk. And then the 786, I wouldn't really be looking at all-time highs, but I would be looking at the 786 maybe at around $71. So at each of these levels, including $27, let me put it in the same color. Including $27, I'll be looking at just laddering out of my position at 27, 40, all of those sorts of prices. The support is at $18. And this could be the start of a nice move towards the upside. But remember, if a whole market crash does come, then you want to have some money on the side to be able to buy these stocks at lower prices. But yeah, it's not looking awful. It looks undervalued, and it looks like a base has been formed, and you've broken your previous high, so it's looking quite bullish actually. But again, it is a high risk stock, so you wouldn't put too much money into something like this. And you have to look at the business model as well because it's not generating much money. I lost £30 by buying a 4041. Should I need to hold? I don't know what you mean by 4041. I don't know what that is. Has everyone put their flags in the chat? Chris Fulton, country boy from South Mississippi. Bit farms have been moving. Hi, Kenya. We've got some in Kenya. Mongolia. From Mongolia. It's incredible. I've always wanted to visit Mongolia. Temji Nayabgargao. Mongolia. Tell me what Mongolia's like. Is it beautiful? Lots of countryside? That's how I imagine it. Very beautiful country with lots of countryside, horses, nice people, cold at certain points in the year. Interesting, Mongolia. Let's type in Mongolia into I think Mongolia is a lovely country. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Who wouldn't want to visit Mongolia? It looks like a very peaceful, old history town. I mean, Looks beautiful. Anyway, let's continue. Let me go back to the chat. Filling the gap, Phil. China, RE is big issue. Stay with us because we're waiting for. Okay, let me put another time on the screen because. Oh no, it's starting in 3 minutes. We don't need a timer. I'll just do it anyway. There we go. Just to keep us reminded. Let's go. Can you do, if you do a super chat, we can do it. Could smash the market. Best believe gold and silver will soar. No to digital IDs. Thank you, Kimberly. Check it out. Sensei China, rare earth control will affect AI. Yep, there is a story on that. It's going to be in the newsletter tomorrow. Why Africa not in your poll? Because I didn't have space to put it in. I didn't have space to put it in. There wasn't a specific reason. It's just I did it in 2 seconds and there's no space to put it in. I lost £30. I apologize to anyone from Africa. It wasn't any reason. It was just I can't. I'm so sorry. I'd love to add Africa to the poll, but I can't. There's not enough space. And I know our top audience is from UK and USA, so I just wanted to make sure to include them. USA, I have lost £30. Beef, sheep, and goat. Thai from Slovakia, Brazil, and horse. Stuck. You see, I forgot South America as well. Stuck in XRP, buying 293. Pre-meeting. Nothing is free in this world. Watching this is free. You're watching this event, and this whole event has been free. We haven't. This event is free. FOMC 3 rate cuts confirmed. Yeah, so what I mean by that is once Jerome Powell spoke, we could have got the rate chances of a January one go up to 3, but right now it looks like there's 2 rate cuts confirmed. One coming at the end of October, one coming in December. The one in January, we're waiting to see Fed officials speak in this event. Jerome Powell had a very short speech, which doesn't really affect the markets. We're waiting for more Fed speeches to see if we can... We've now got 2 confirmed. We're waiting to see if the third one gets confirmed. Right now, it looks like there's only going to be 2 in the next 3 meetings. We could get the odds jump for 3 rate cuts being confirmed. But right now, about 2 are confirmed. Okay, so what we're going to get ready for now is the last magic number. And also, we're going to be moving over to Vaz. Vaz is another presenter on this show. He's going to be covering the Delta earnings, but he's going to come and show you more from the Fed and also give you your last magic number. It's all going to be live on this show, but so stay with us for the next 10 minutes. In the next 10 minutes, you'll get your final magic number. So the next stream is starting in 5 minutes' time. Let's see if we've got any updates from the Fed event. Nothing there. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to newsletter. There's so much time and effort that goes into newsletter. I'd love for you guys to take advantage of all the time and effort I put in and subscribe to newsletter. The newsletter link is in the live chat as we speak. No Africa and no reactions on my questions. Annalise Elizabeth, I literally replied to your question on I literally replied to it. I said that you've been a member for over 2 months. You haven't it was for anyone who becomes a member after Martyn announced it. And you did not become a member after Martyn announced it. No Africa. I've also explained why I've said no Africa. It's because I forgot South America. I didn't put Africa. I was just doing a quick poll. I'll end the poll now. I just wanted to see where everyone was from because a lot of people started to talk about digital ID. So I wanted to see if many people were here from the UK. And you can't have more than 4. I can't put every continent on a poll. So I hope that explains that, Annalise Elizabeth. Hopefully I've explained it again. I don't want you to be left behind. Make money where you can. About digital IDs are just supreme controls over retail folks. Awful. Thank you, Kimberly. Chilla, Anna. It's okay, Walker Wonder. Don't worry about it. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We're waiting for the Fed. It's been an amazing event. We've got we've got Jim Cramer speaking now. Oh God, what's he going to say? Let's go back about 10 seconds. I think Vaz will start with this. Vaz will start with this event with Jim Cramer starting to speak. So in the next, remember, we're live every single morning, trading morning. Any big events in crypto, any big events in the stock market, any macro events, any EVTOL events, any ETF events, any Trump events, we cover it live on this show every single day. Martyn is on holiday, so we do have to, me and Vaz will have to step up our game and try and go live as much as possible. But all you have to do is subscribe. It's free. When you subscribe, just check right now, is your notification bell on? Because if you get notified about many events, when the ETF goes live, I'm going to be live within 5 minutes of the ETFs going live. So you want that notification so we can be together. We're going to navigate the market all together. We were in the bear market buying XRP at 30 cents. It's now at $3 plus. We were buying Rocket Lab at $5. I don't know what it's at now, but 10 times that. We were buying Meta at $80. We've been part of every single event. We cover all earnings. All you need to do is subscribe so you can be part of every event. I personally go live to cover all the news every single morning. Every single morning, I'll tell you the times because we put it on X. So if I go onto my profile on X, you can see this is the official times, and then we do more streams every single morning. 7:30 Eastern time, 12:30 p.m. UK time, 1:30 Central Europe time, 5 p.m. India time, 8 p.m. Singapore time, 8 p.m. China time, 9 p.m. Japan time, 10 p.m. Sydney time, 4:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's my times every single morning. We go through the news of the day and get ready for the day. Apart from that, we do lots of streams. We do the Sunday night event with the trivia and market knowledge. We also do the Saturday event with Vaz with EvTolls. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just replying to this because Vaz is about to go live. So we're going to continue the stream on into the Delta earnings. Plus, the Jim Cramer is now live at the Fed. We're only about a couple minutes behind this now. So we will continue with this event. I'm waiting to get confirmation from Vaz that he is ready to go live now because we are going to move over to Vaz. Let me quickly go over to your comments as well. The third magic number is going to be in Vaz's stream. Make sure you watch the first 5 minutes. He will give the magic number there. And also get to know Vaz, ask him questions. He's got lots of information he can provide. I've never had a paid membership. Previous membership was a gift. Today was my first purchase. Annalise Elizabeth. Oh, interesting. Well, thank you for becoming a member. That's fine. But yes, you didn't become a member after Martyn announced it. We were waiting for people to become members after. If you do have a chart request, do let me know. It's fine. What chart would you like? What chart would you like, Annalise Elizabeth? Just give me the ticker symbol. Buying Robinhood at $8. Oh yeah, buying Robinhood at $8. Now $150. Yeah, we've done that as well. Songs for Space. Thank you for mentioning that. Ole says, great show today. Thank you very much.
Gunderson donated 20 Norwegian kroner through a super chat. Great show today, Sensei.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been an amazing show today. Thank you for staying with us. Thanks for your confidence and your new commitment. Yes, thank you for becoming a member. Are we playing the tombola? I don't know what that is. How low is gold going? Thought capital fight fundamentally should move into gold given the geopolitics. Yep, gold is up about 50% year to date. I mean, it's been the biggest move ever on gold, really. Help Somali. I don't know what that means. Can you mention Pakistan time as well or live show? Pakistan time. Let's have a look. 12:30 UK time in Pakistan. Any more time zones people want to know? 4:30 p.m. in Pakistan every single trading morning. We will be live. Any other time zones? Let me know in the chat if you want to know, and I'll tell you the time we're live every single day. Of course, we go live throughout the day. That's why you need your notifications as well. But you want to start your day off with the news. Okay, Vaz, are you ready to go live? Where is? Let me just check. We are going over to seeing if he's live. Maybe Vaz is already live. I'm going to give you the link to the next stream. Here we go. So let me go over there. Make sure you have subscribed and hit the like button before you do leave this stream. I think Vaz is already live. Vaz is already live. So I'm going to send you to Vaz now. So get ready. Everything is dumping, yes. So here is an extreme. Go here, you'll get your final magic number. You'll get Vaz potentially covering this event as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. The link is in the live chat. Click on it, go to Vaz, and straight away, Vaz will give you your first magic number. And click on that. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.